I'm gonna grab a plasma pistol, get a checkpoint, and then probably tab out. No, give me a better one. That's not a better one. Nah, screw it.
All right, well, to remind you folks, you were all at the tower at Telmont here, and after about a month of construction, Larry, Mo, Curly, and Shimp have managed to get at least a lot of it rebuilt. You've gotten the stone base pretty much repaired, and I think you've got some like floors in there, so you've got a decent little start for your tower.
Oh, we got a decent number of people here. Okay.
And if anybody missed it, here's the lovely image that Underdark made of the interior of your wonderful tower.
Med check.
We hear you.
Yep. Now, unlike the first image, your tower does not currently have a like a conical roof on it. It is right now. It is flat on the top with no battlements and only wooden guard rails. Now, I will say the rails are a little sturdier than guard rails. They are like planked, but they're not going to be great cover from anything heavy.
Well, Spectre isn't here, but I believe I was having something cast on me over the course of, I think, for like 30 days or something.
That
So
does
that should
sound
be
familiar.
Yeah, that should be done now, assuming they went along with that.
I don't see why not. Howdy, howdy. So yeah, you guys are sitting at Telmont, up in Idle Watch, I suppose. It's been about a month. I think your stonemasons have pretty much finished their task. So I think that's pretty much it. I think today they're packing up and leaving.
Great. Yeah, if there's any stone left over, we just use it to like repair the bridge and shit.
Now,
Yeah.
Gumbo hasn't been here, so is there some kind of overarching objective that we're currently working?
Just building a place for us to live.
Cool.
So we built a tower. There may or may not be subterranean access points.
Are those buildings beside the tower also there? Is that a stable at sea?
There is currently no stable. There is a yurt outside near the bridge on the south side of the bridge. It's like a grass hut that belongs to a furbolg you guys invited to stay and tend the gardens. You have a longhouse south of the tower, a much smaller single room, like 10 by 10 interior A-frame house with a small garden up there by the tower as well, and a busted, half-destroyed mill up on the river, as well as if you look south of that mill, there's basically an exposed basement where there was previously a house, but no longer.
I see it, yeah. Probably throw a tarp over that and make it into a decent living space.
I mean, you throw a tent over it, yeah.
Yeah, Gumbo's used to living in tents. So were we going to do something now that this construction is complete?
Well, I really have nothing to do, so I suppose not.
Well, the who was the guy who sent me again? The town guard captain guy.
The town guard
Or
captain.
no, it was like a prince or a lord or somebody.
Probably the Baron.
The Baron of
Sark.
Sarkney, that was it. Didn't he assign you guys something to?
Wasn't it just like finish this tower before he's done with his paperwork?
Yeah, about that. I may or may not have sent a cart full of paperwork to him to keep him busy while we finish the tower. Yeah, he may not appreciate that now that I think about it.
Poor guy.
Well, see, here's the thing. They were all a bunch of like cross-referential forms. So it's like, please, complete form 87-C-Q and place the value of line 37 on this line. Then add it to the value you get from form 27-2 and put it and then sum that up, which you need for worksheet ZZ219 over there. And by the way, none of the paper was in order.
Oh, you made him do his taxes. Is that it?
I'm sorry, but that's too evil. I think I need to smite you now.
Yeah, you sent him his 1080.
There's like a couple multi-paged forms, and I made sure each page ended up in a different pile of forms. There's only one of each page in there.
Well, out of character, there must be some kind of like local menace thing going on that we were supposed to take care of. Or is this really all we've been doing?
We sort of killed the local menace and took their tower, which is now our tower.
Oh, didn't somebody just come back from Alfheim? Wasn't that going to be?
I mean, yeah, we had what's her face came back.
Not Agatha.
Yeah, not Agatha.
Nobody who was participating in this remembers anything.
No, I remember that. I just couldn't remember her name. I kept thinking Amelia.
I wasn't there for a lot of it.
Yeah, not Agatha came back claiming to be real Agatha. And yeah, so she's just part of the party now. So when we get real Agatha, we'll actually have two Agathas.
Do we know if it's not Agatha?
I mean, if we knew it was not Agatha, then wouldn't we just call it by its real name?
We think it's Agatha.
Okay, so Agatha came back.
So?
That's funny. It is let's see. It's a Monday. It's a market day.
How we been at market?
Yeah, you guys have had a lot of market days. You've had a lot of downtime. Had a month of downtime.
Well, I already spent mine. I'm good.
I spent mine, but if nothing's happening this day, I'll just continue working on this, the scroll.
Fair enough.
How much is horse armor?
Uh,
I want to get me a
$5.99.
magic squirrel.
Like, can I roll to try and get some horse armor?
Sure. It's probably some kind of multiple of what the regular armor cost is. So I'd have to open up the guide and give you an estimate. But you can.
So barding costs 4 times the equivalent armor made for humanoids and weighs twice as much.
Sounds about right. Don't sound cheap.
You getting battle armor for your rabbit?
So I guess the real question was, what kind of barding is he trying to get?
Yeah, that would be important to know because I need to know what the equivalent is. Otherwise, it's not like a valid roll. Like, are you trying to get chainmail for your horse? Are you trying to get full
Yeah,
plate
you
for your
go
horse?
gold, iron, or diamond.
He rides a rabbit.
I need to look that up, bro.
Sure thing.
So out of character, I'm trying to figure out like what we're actually going to do now, because I'm drawing a
Well, we could always go to town and raise hell.
As you lot are wont to do.
What do you think I've been doing the whole time I was gone?
All right, what's chainmail cost in the PHB? More than
that.
2. Well, thank you for rolling low enough. I don't have to check.
Can I just keep going down the list, like chain and the scale, and then
I mean, if you want to make one more attempt, I won't hold it against you. Sure. Something cheaper than chain. All right. Unfortunately, now somebody has to check.
well, yours is a wealth DC of 8.
Yeah, I'm not. The wealth DC gives a range. So what I need is the 50 gold. It costs the same as a chain shirt, as a matter of fact, not the same as chainmail. So 50 gold. So it's flipping. What's that? 200 gold.
And a 12 is a range from 250 to 9.
Yeah. So it looks like you should be fine. You can afford it.
Awesome. I then used cast Find Steed to get a war horse and then put it on.
You got it. I have the wrong document open. Yeah, go ahead and make some rolls. I said make some rolls. Amy wanted to roll something. You roll.
Ah.
I'm still trying to like get my shit together here because I'm
Mic check.
missing a document.
Yeah, we're here, you, Meta.
Yeah, I hear.
Sweet.
Are you making some rolls, Meta? Make sure you list what they're for. Cool.
So is this a new market day or just continued from like last week?
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember if you used this one last week, so I'm basically giving you this one again.
Is this past the 4th week?
This is at the end of the 4th week. The Masons have finished the tower, and they were willing to probably spend a few minutes looking over the bridge and patching a couple problems with that, and then they started out probably minutes ago.
I'd like to make a couple rolls.
Sure thing.
Now I get a fucking 15.
So who is not going to market today?
I am not.
So are you alone at the tower? Is anyone else up there?
I think I already went to market. Yeah.
So
Alright.
I'm at the tower.
Okay.
I'm at the tower, probably.
All right. Well, a little before midday, a horse arrives with a familiar rider. Not the one you probably expected, however. You see Sir Jacob at the outer gate. He rides his way in. I don't think you guys ever put up an actual door in that
Nope.
gate.
We didn't.
So he just rides his way right on up, and he sees where some of your horses are grazing, and he finds a spot to leave his horse, makes his way up toward the tower.
So it should be me, or Dumbo, Gilbert, or Wilfred, and
Indeed.
I mean, if Gilbert's suddenly here, I'd be surprised.
Torment's
if
here.
Gilbert were here, that would be surprising.
Torment is here.
Oh, get that breastplate.
Oh, did you use a +1?
I certainly did.
Nice.
Ooh, be crit.
Ooh.
Wait, I thought you already got Brigandine.
Yeah, breastplate's better. It
Wow.
also has that heavy armor property.
Very nice.
Oh, glancing blow.
In this campaign, isn't everything above light armor disadvantage on your stealth, though?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I remember that right.
And medium gives you a -1 on your spell to hit and DC, and heavy gives you a -2 on your spell to hit.
Does anyone want Brigandine by any chance?
Your Brigandine is probably not transferable. Actually, I guess your Brigandine might be transferable if you
How
have
much
someone
is
else.
Brigandine for AC?
think it's like 14 plus Dex max 3.
It's actually 15.
What kind of armor is it?
Medium.
Medium.
This is medium armor. It's
Highest medium
15 plus dex, and the max dex you can benefit from is 3. Yeah, it is.
And what disadvantages does wearing medium armor impose?
Stealth.
Yeah,
Just
stealth. You also have a -1 malice to your spell save DCs and your spell attack modifier. That's just all armor that's not light armor gets that, and then heavy armor basically doubles it.
So I get that athletics proficiency down. The training anyway.
Hmm.
The forward cost.
This is the last day of that 4 weeks, so you have.
Do you think it's worth it for me
paid
to
it up.
wear that if I lose the my movement?
No.
For that?
All right, then I probably won't wear it then.
Yeah, I'd say it probably costs something to get that resized, but it would be a pretty low DC to do it if somebody wants to wear that.
I'm not going to bother with it. I'm a monk.
So
So this guy comes by.
Yeah, Sir
And
Jacob shows up at the tower. He makes his way to the base of the tower. He walks his way up the stairs. He knocks on the door to the tower.
I'm like in the first level, scribing on my scroll for this day. I'm gonna use Mage Hand to open the door remotely while I'm just sitting there at the table looking at it. And when it opens and I see him, River's just gonna sit there and be like, "Sup."
All right. Yeah, Sir Jacob will chuckle and he'll walk into the room. He'll close the door behind him. He has a wine skin, and he's going to take a swig of that and hold it out. See if you want any. The thing is as big as you are, so.
No, I'll tell him I'm good. I've got my own a goblet of, straight, grain alcohol there.
Fair enough.
Ask him if he wants any of this.
He'll take a glance at it, and I think probably being able to smell it from where he is, he will decline.
So what brings you by?
Oh, I just figured you lot out here might not be keeping up with the scuttlebutt around town.
Let's go to what?
I've been a bit busy. What's up?
Well, my friend, it sounds like we have some hostilities brewing in the east. I've heard tell that the church may end up declaring a crusade. We have strange times we live in.
Gas vault!
A crusade on what?
Well, Sir Wolflin, Lord Wolflin, pardon, has been telling me that there have been foreign raiders attacking the shores of Vidachi and Avar recently. And that's not the sort of thing that the church can tolerate. I believe these may be foreigners from possibly Carida and Zuphasia. I don't think the raiders themselves have declared any official allegiance to either government, but it's not the sort of thing that the church will split hairs over. I think they may just declare holy war anyway. In the meantime, it sounds like before the summer draws to a close, we may be on the march to go defend some of our allies in Vadachi. Now, I don't know if Sir Wolfland has given any such orders to you as of yet, but you may want to prepare yourselves to winter away from home.
Are there forests over where this march is headed?
In Vadachi, it's fairly sparse. It's been a number of years since I've been there, but much of the land won't really support very much in terms of forestry. There are small patches here and there, surely. Why do you ask?
Logistics.
Well, we like to travel through Glint on our way, and we'll have our supply lines begin there. The Duke himself should likely supply some men to join us on the trail. I don't know much for the details as of yet, but if I were you, I would keep an ear out.
Right, so I guess just let us know where you want us to start raining hellfire down, I guess.
Well, that will be up to Lord Wolfland. I'm not sure if he'll be going himself. I've
Gas vault.
put myself forward. I'm very happy to go in his stead. He seems to still be quite busy, although I do think he has plans to make his way up here in the next day or two. It does. He had some concerns, but it does look like everything is pretty ship shape around here.
Well, the masons have been masoning for about a month, so tower's pretty much set. Though I am curious if we are being deployed, who's going to watch the place when we're gone?
Was young Miss Idle was given custodianship of the land. Yes, I believe that's. Sorry to say, that's her responsibility to figure out.
Right, rigging the whole thing to explode. Got it.
He gives a nervous laugh. He says, "Well, in any case, I just thought you all ought to know. No final word yet. The church may yet decide that they don't want to follow through, but we will likely be marching to at least defend against the raiders either way."
All right,
And
well,
he is going to stand up and push in his chair, and he is still listening to you.
I'll say, well, I'll pass it along.
Very well. Gods be with you. And he's going to take his leave.
Yep. Safe travels. How the fuck am I gonna blow up a tower this big?
Does he hear that?
Probably. He doesn't respond to it.
Wonderful.
Actually, he may quicken his pace slightly.
Hey! Can we chase him down?
I mean, he's just at the bottom of the stairs to the tower. So, I mean, if you call out to him, he'll hear you.
Stick the hounds on him.
Smithers, release the hounds.
Are we letting him go, or what are we doing?
So I missed a lot, didn't I?
Well, he is a friendly, so yeah, we're just gonna let him go. We're not gonna black bag the random nobleman.
Are you sure? Wait, am I supposed
But
to hide those?
wait, I mean,
Well, you may suspect that he told people he was coming here.
oh yeah, let him
Should
go.
I get more backs?
Frankly, I just don't see any purpose to capturing him.
I actually don't know what's going on. I've been really distracted.
Somebody update idle while I warm up my coffee.
Really distracted.
Right,
Desmond.
so Pope's calling for a crusade, and looks like we may get stuck having to go.
So we find mercenaries to hire, and if they die, we blow the place up.
That's what I was saying.
Sounds like a plan to me.
You guys are gonna trust mercenaries to guard a home?
If if there aren't any mercenaries left before we return, then we are going to blow the place up. And we
Either
are
that or
going
figure out how to get it walking.
Yeah, we could. We are also going to very much want to, take all of our valuable stuff and leave a plan B in case these mercenaries turn out to be a bunch of giant cunts. Pardon the Elvish, I guess. I don't know. Some language that a bunch of cunts would speak. So yeah, Elvish. Fuck them.
AGR. I have hide +1.
That's racist.
I'm not sure how it got there. It's been there for a while. Can I sell that?
It's not racist if it's right. AGR when AFK.
Oh, okay.
I think he said something about making coffee.
Oh no. Yeah,
I'm back.
saw that coming.
Mhm.
AGR, I have hide +1 in my inventory, and it's taking up valuable weight. Can I sell that?
I mean, presumably, you could also just store it in the tower.
Okay, it's not worth it's not worth enough to become a +1 if I.
I mean, I'll hold on to it while we're out. I don't carry a lot of stuff. We are also going to
It's
be.
probably pretty unreasonable for you to take all that kind of stuff with you everywhere you go. It's the kind of thing that you would, you would take with you to barter with. Maybe maybe get a cart, or you would, just leave it at the tower and tell people, okay, set up the trade, and then have them come collect it.
Okay, well then I'll just store it in the tower.
I mean, as long as it's local, like, as long as you don't try to buy something in a different county, you're probably okay.
So how far away is this crusade going to be? And how many fires are we expected to start?
Sounds like it's like one country over to the east somewhere. Something about Ghent and sparse forestland.
This AJR, this would be like the equivalent of the Byzantines in terms of on the map.
Your character has probably never seen a map in his life.
I know. I'm trying to get an idea what it looks like as a player.
Yeah, I mean, this is you're kind of in a central German country, and this is slightly closer to where these Eastern powers is. Basically, they're being attacked across what's the equivalent to the Med.
Okay.
I kind of want to know. I have a character sheet titled Redhill Circus Bear, but at the same time, I want to keep it a mystery.
I remember.
I have no idea what it is.
How long do rations last if we store them?
It varies, but you should expect that if you're traveling with an army, uh, they're going to do what you would call forage. But I mean, what they would call forage, what you might call pill. Friendly lands or not, they're going to be going door to door and just taking whatever they need. So
Yeah, but like if I stored it in the tower, how long would they last?
you have a larder. So as far as I'm concerned, if you put rations in the larder, that's a place to keep it cool and dry, and it'll be good for a long time.
Okay.
In any case, is anyone doing anything else today?
Well, did we figure out when we have to leave?
Nope. We aren't officially given orders to move just yet.
Okay. Now it sounds like market day draws to a close. Further 2 days pass before Sir Wolfland shows up to the tower. He doesn't immediately make his way up. He takes his horse around the outskirts, goes into the wall, takes his horse around the inner wall. He inspects everything.
Can I wave to him from the top of the tower like a princess that needs to be rescued? Just to be a little shit.
Sure. Make a I don't know. Make a performance check.
Ooh, I have portents. I might want to use one of those. Ooh, I'll take
Oh
that
no,
19
his
and make it a
knightly
20.
instincts are tingling.
I'll use that 19 on my portents and make it a 20 on performance.
Okay.
Totally worth it.
He stops in his tracks and he looks at you. And he just stares. And he seems a little perplexed, but then he rides over. Once he gets close, he yells up to you. Do you have some sort of problem? Is something a matter?
I'm just saying hi and maybe forgot where the ladder is. That's a joke. I remember where the ladder is.
While you're still explaining that, he starts riding away from you and continues inspecting the grounds.
Best use of a 19 I've used. Alright. I'll make my way back down and follow him around.
And yeah, after he finishes inspecting everything, he comes up to the tower, and he does not knock on the door. He opens the door, assuming it is not locked. I don't believe anybody purchased a lock or has a key to the original lock, so
No, it just has a bar across the back of the door,
there you go.
but it's not barred at the moment. So he probably opens it. Revert's sitting there at the table, writing on his scroll. What's up?
He's going to look at you, and he's going to say, Gnome.
Ooh.
Human.
And he's going to look around, and he's going to say, is the lady of the house in?
She's on the roof last I checked.
You're going to
He's
see
jump.
you're going to see a look on his face like, God damn it, I don't want to go up all these stairs. But then he's going to go and start his way up the stairs.
Sorry, who is this again? Is this the same guy?
Idle's probably on her way down.
This is Sir Wolf.
Oh.
So probably by the time he gets up the second flight of stairs, about halfway, you round the corner and start your way down. And he says, ah, good. And he starts to turn around and walk down the steps.
I'll follow him.
He's going to take a seat by Revert at the table.
Want something to drink, and I offer him the same, 100% grain alcohol that I've been drinking.
Did they bring our tower down? No.
Sure. He'll have a drink. He downs the whole thing in one swig. He just takes the whole goblet you were drinking out of, and he just downs the whole thing.
Good shit, huh?
His voice is a little rough when he says it, but you hear him say, "Yes, thank you." So, yeah, Sir Wolflin is going to begin speaking once Idle makes her way down the stairs, and he's going to say, well, it looks like you have done an admirable job of getting the tower proper repaired. What do your stores look like?
Or what?
Your stores?
Well, they're octagonal and below ground, and they have stone for walls. I'm not really sure what that matters at the moment.
Well, you don't have, you're a little out of the way. It's not an incredible distance to town, but if you had to hold out in the tower, I'd like to know you have some stores. You said below us. Let's check that out. It's in
Yeah.
the tower proper.
Oh yeah, they're I point to the hatch underneath the stairs. It's like, yeah, they're down there. We have like a week's worth of groceries.
Lovely. If one of you would lead the way, please.
Oh, the kitchen. Idol's
Yeah.
gonna lead the way there.
Okay.
Once one of you goes down the ladder, he will follow. He just clearly did not feel comfortable being the first one down a ladder into your basement.
That's a wise move, given who lives here.
Yeah, no one really calls them stores. They're just the dining room. I eat in here most of the time.
It's
Speaking of which, I'll be sitting
it's a
down
room
here.
with a dirt floor and a handful of boxes.
It's surprisingly comfortable once you get used to it.
Actually, the first floor beneath the door would actually have a wooden floor, because then that goes down into the basement. That's still above ground.
Yeah, that's not the ladder. Well, you have to go down 2 ladders. Or
Yeah.
no, you have to go down, 2 ladders.
2 ladders.
So,
Man, just wait till I get dimension door and all it takes is 6 seconds.
Yeah, Gumbo's in here though. He'll just wave and say hi.
It's also worth noting that because the gnome designed it, and the gnome has dark vision, there is no appliances for making light anywhere in the tower except for the fireplaces, which are more for heat than light.
makes sense to me.
Idol stumbled around enough and is smart enough to map the place out.
Probably at about that point, you hear Wilfred trip down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, I mean, if Sir Wolfland doesn't have access to a light source, he's gonna like walk out to his horse, get his lantern, and come back.
It's funny because Emmy has dark vision and also has the light cantrip, so she doesn't need anything. So
She's not there, is she?
I know. No, she's not there. If this is just the
And
middle of
Revert
the
never
day,
bothered
she
with
would
the
not be
light
here.
cantrip because, dark vision.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Sir Wolfland will check out your pantry, and he's gonna inform you. There's not an incredible amount in here. You may want to fill these up a bit. I don't believe anybody purchased any large supplies of food or anything.
No, we have like a week's worth of groceries.
Yeah, there's 10 days rations that Emmy is stored down there. And there's also a hide plus.
Our
It
stores are a suit
it
of
would be-
hide armor.
It would be
Nowhere else to put
preferable
it.
if you didn't end up eating each other within a fortnight. I'm not sure a full larder will prevent that, but it would help. Otherwise, Miss Idle, I believe you have done an admirable job. I almost wish I had given you a larger project.
However, it helped with most of the work.
I move things.
And everyone else contributed at least to manual labor. I mean, I wasn't alone for any of this.
Oh, no need to be modest. Now, I trust Sir Jacob has already informed you of the status of the realm, as it were.
Yes, as it is. Doesn't sound like too much fun. Are you sure we can't just sit this one out?
Unfortunately, this these foreign raiders have taken the home of a good friend to the Duke of Glint, and as a matter of fact, this friend of the Duke's is my uncle. It gives me no pleasure to march away from my homeland and winter on foreign soil. But, we will do what we must.
I see. Okay. So we
So fortunately, my uncle and his family made it out of the fortress, although it doesn't sound like the raiders were happy to give them any quarter. They managed to escape via the Sally Port and make their way to Glint, so they are safe. But without their lands and incomes, they are going to be a burden on my purse, which is already threadbare.
well, for what it's worth, I'll try to I will help in any capacity I'm able to, and I will try to keep collateral damage to a minimum while we are in what's normally friendly territory.
So the plan for the moment is we will need some time to gather the necessary men at arms, and we will make our way by the end of the season down to Glint. Once we arrive in Glint, hopefully the Duke will have already amassed his own force, and we will join them, and we will march for the castle, which lies to the southeast.
How far of a journey are we expecting?
Oh, fortunately for us, the journey to Glint will be longer than our journey in foreign territory, and it shouldn't be too terribly far. We will be unlikely to make a round trip before the winter hits us.
Are we planning on laying siege to the fortress that's in enemy hands,
We
or
will have to see when we get there. I certainly don't know enough of it to tell you as it sits.
What do we know of the raiders?
From what I hear, they are foreign savages that attacked from the coast. They hit the southern coast of Adachi and burned the surrounding villages. They scaled the castle walls with hooks and ropes and set upon the servants in the night. Their screams awoke the lord and lady and their 3 young children, and they fled out the Sally Port, the tower on the north side. And fortunately, the attack was under cover of darkness, which also gave my uncle and his family an opportunity to escape.
But these were humans. Oh, does anyone know the majority race, predominant race of them?
They're men, Goliaths. Uh, they I don't believe these Easterners have much love for half folks or gnomes, although they do have quite a penchant for spellcasters. I would be concerned we may pick up a handful of clergymen to assist us, but I have no idea what complement of magic users they may have at hand. Fortunately, we have a trick or two up our sleeves as well. And he looks directly
Us.
at the gnome. Firstly,
And the gnome just gives him this like creepy smile. He's like, "Oh yeah, tricks I got."
Yeah. But I believe you shall all be indispensable in this effort.
I would certainly like to think so. Otherwise,
So, Miss Idle, what is your plan for defending the tower? Will your group here venture south?
I was planning on looking for some hired help, maybe a mercenary or two to train some of the local people. And while they're not at their jobs, they would be here and we would pay them afterwards. Does that sound reasonable to you?
Well, my primary concern is that Sarkney herself will lie fairly lightly defended. We've taken some significant losses this year. Trained a handful of the locals to help fill out the ranks of the watch, and we are recovering, but we don't have that many men to spare. With
Maybe
the ones
some
we'll have to send along with us, I should say along with you and Sir Jacob, we will not have very many men, and anyone who is of fighting shape, I'd prefer to be manning the walls in Sarkny. Maybe you can find some help from a neighboring province, or maybe perhaps you can enlist some help from the half folk or something. Someone.
the half-folk. Halflings? Gnomes?
Halflings. A tower full of gnomes, I think, is a little more than I could bear. One is quite enough, thank you.
A whole tower of them would be entertaining. You don't happen to know where any halflings are that are competent with defending a fortress, do you?
No, I do not.
Hey, didn't that what was his name, Loki guy, say something about treating the halflings of wounds and such? Maybe he knows.
You know, it probably wouldn't work. Never mind.
What was it?
Well, there is that tree woad out in the woods. We could try to bribe it to protect the tower for us, but given that we cut down a large swath of the forest around the tower, might not be in the best of moods.
I'm surprised that tree woad didn't beat the shit out of me while I was chopping down those trees.
Wait, you were alone when you were doing that?
I'm sorry,
I don't.
what are you talking about?
Walking tree spirit.
Some remnants of the elf bullshit, apparently.
There is a walking tree on my land, and you have killed it, yes?
Well, we haven't seen it in a while, so we think we might have scared it off.
Towards Glint or towards town?
Last I saw it was going east.
Lovely, lovely. Good to hear, good to hear. Well, it sounds like you all have it well in hand. You should have your bags packed and yourselves prepared to begin our journey. Oh well, today is the 61st, I believe. Let's try to be out of here by the 76th.
That gives us
2
3
weeks?
weeks. 2.
Gives you 2 market days. Yeah, not
Right.
counting today. Gives you
Remind
2
me,
full
For
weeks and
anyone
weather like
who's
up there?
wondering,
How long does it take to train somebody a short bow?
8 weeks.
Shit. Okay.
We could always enlist the help of the kid with his pig in defending the tower.
He would make a wonderful cavalry.
Sorry, 6 weeks.
I'm sorry, you're gonna leave my tower under the care of a boy who rides a pig?
No, he's.
Well, I can probably get my brother Arnold to look in every so often.
You have a brother?
Oh wait, no, that's my sister. Yeah, I get my sister Arnold to look in every so often. Yeah.
Huh?
I mean,
Okay.
I have questions. I don't want to
Uh,
know answers.
Can you make a
Um,
persuasion roll for me, Rev? Maybe make that intimidation.
Intimidation. Okay, intimidation.
Okay. Okay.
So, I think we should. I'll check and see if we can get some halflings, or is halflings or half folk less likely to piss them off? Do they care? I'm going to assume they don't care. I'm going to see if I can get some half folk to learn how to use a spear and shield, and see if I can make enough. And I probably can't make some short bows, but I'm sure I can find some. And we should be able to get them to defend the tower. If the kid and his pig do intend to help, they will not be in a position of rank, but they're resourceful enough to not be a hindrance.
He's just gonna look at you.
I thought this was a
And
joke.
he's gonna just stare silently at you for a minute. And then he's gonna begin speaking. He's gonna say, well, you are welcome to speak to some of the half folk. If you can train them how to use a spear and shield, that's fine with me. It will be the harvest season, so I would say you could probably defend this tower pretty respectfully with a half dozen men. So let's call it a dozen half men, huh? Please do not requisition more than a dozen of these half folk to defend this tower. It is simply it is only worth so much.
Is that why you gave it to us? Well, to me. I mean, I'm more than happy to look after it, but I just felt like we're a bit of an
Well, as
unknown
it
element.
stands, it is not earning me any income. However, the farms are keeping the people fed, the people who earn me income, and the people who will defend the walls in the case of another elvish incursion or another rock attack.
Out of character, did we get farms situated in here yet?
Nope.
You have 2 small gardens.
I believe we came to the conclusion that farms would not be the best solution, given that this soil isn't the most arable.
All right,
I
here's an
thought we were
idea.
just gonna
We,
put
we
potatoes or
grab a
something.
dozen halflings. All right. We tell them they get to winter in the tower because we won't be here. While they're here, if they can get the water wheel working to get a lumber mill going, they get to profit from that during the winter. And then when we come back, we got a trained populace and a lumber mill.
This is why Under plays high int characters.
Because he's qualified.
Yeah.
I know how to hit things.
So how is the weather like to where we're going? What can we expect?
If it's not far, it should be fairly similar to the weather we have here.
The winters are pretty comparable. We're like to see snow. Hopefully not too deep. Dress warm. Shouldn't be anything too dangerous, so long as we can take the castle in a timely fashion. We'll have a nice warm hearth by the time the real cold sets in.
Taking fortifications quickly is something we have some experience with.
Very good. Well, I have preparations to make. I will see you in about a fortnight. And he's going to stand up. He's going to make his way out of the tower.
I will walk him out of the tower because I'm going to assume that's what's considered courteous.
Yeah. He makes his way to his horse. He puts his lantern away, and he hops up and starts his way out of the palisades. He does stop before he exits, and he looks around in the woods, and then you see that he gives his horse a swift kick, and he breaks into like a gallop.
The woods aren't safe. Ooh.
AGR, did they sell burlap cloaks at the time?
Burlap cloaks?
I believe that's what it's called. I'm looking for something waterproof.
I mean, your typical wool cloak is pretty waterproof. I mean, if it's thick wool, it's going to wick off a lot of water. It's not completely waterproof, but
I mean, if you're looking for like medieval style rain slicks, they would typically take either wool or canvas and rub beeswax on the outer surface to make it more water resistant.
That's true. They also did that to make, like, if they needed to seal a container, they would beeswax some like some cloth, and then it would give it a enough of a tacky kind of stiffness that they could wrap it around and use it like saran wrap.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So who here is good at convincing halflings to do things?
I would think Loki would be actually, since
Well,
he
what
works
kind of
with them.
convincing do you need?
Well,
I'm real convincing.
no, not that kind of convincing. The other kind of convincing. The kind where they like us afterward. Well,
I can
I'm
force labor make them work, and they will work.
Well, see, the problem is we're leaving for the winter. So, what I'm thinking is, halflings typically get fucked over. They have to live outside the wall in shitty shacks. And if anything happens, they're like the first to
They're the
die.
first to go. Yep.
So, we offer a dozen of them. They get to live in the tower through the winter, which is a nice stone tower. There's a hearth, there's some wood. They'll have to supply their own food, but I'm sure they already got that at their house. And all we want from them is basically to keep the place from burning down while we're gone. There's also that broken down water mill that can be converted into a lumber mill. If they happen to get that up and running, while we're gone, they get all the profits from it.
I can talk to people and it usually ends pretty well, but
Out of character, I am proficient in persuasion, but I would
See,
like
when the
someone to back
gnome
me up.
starts
I'll back
trying,
up someone.
yeah, when the gnome starts telling people stuff like this, it usually ends with "yeah, sure," and you have a bridge to sell me in Brooklyn, I guess.
what's a Brooklyn?
Is that some kind of food?
Anyways,
Never mind, it's a gnome thing. You wouldn't understand.
Revert and Agatha, if you two could come with me, I'm sure we could get at least somebody to consider our offer.
Well, he said we're allowed to take up to a dozen halflings, so let's go to the halfling section of town.
Yeah, and we can teach them.
Go AGR. Could I talk to Loki briefly, just
Sure.
to get a bit more something about the halflings? Maybe say something like, "Oh, Loki sent me" or whatever.
I mean, presumably he is there.
Very good.
Mister, you're hot, Mike.
Is that better?
Oh yeah, thanks. Unless anyone else has a better idea. Anyone?
I think that's perfect, actually. Yeah.
So I would like to at least teach them how to defend themselves if they need to. Spear and shield, crash course in archery, have at least a couple bows if they need them, have spears and at least a wooden shield for everybody. That wouldn't be too much work, would it?
I
Spears,
can give a crash
shields,
course in archery.
crossbows
You need to
might be a bit
buy-
more effective in unskilled hands.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good point. I'm just used to everybody using a bow around here.
I can still try to give a crash course in crossbows, but I think Agatha would probably be a better.
Crossbows? I haven't touched a crossbow in my life. I've done nothing but long and short bows.
Aren't you part of the guard? Don't the guard use crossbow?
I didn't use those.
Most
okay.
of them do, but there's no requirement. It's just that's what they typically train.
Yeah, my
Crossbows
father used a longbow most of his life, and he trained me with a short bow, and then, I never had a need for a crossbow.
Crossbows are more powerful and easier to use, but they're also typically more difficult to make because it's not just a piece of wood and a piece of flax.
Yeah.
Um,
Bows also have a longer range, too.
Yeah, I don't think we have to deal with that. Agatha, do you have any friends in the guard that would be willing to, train some halflings, maybe for pay?
Agatha, you know Barbara, Kraft, and Paul from the Town Watch, and you also know they're not going to do anything for free.
Yep.
They like you, but they don't do nothing for free.
Then maybe we could get them to live in the tower.
So, what sort of payment could I give them to reasonably do this? I don't want to shortchange them, and I don't want to, rip myself off here. Would it be like 10 rolls to do a simple weapons training or something like that?
It's basically the same as like out of the book. The spear and shield training is for a fucking dozen people. They're not going to give you a discount, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm
There
going to
was
make
a
some of
12
those
DC of
rolls, but
3.
I'm not going to be able to get all of them. Someone's going to have to help me with this.
Do any of us know how to use a spear and shield that can train people if we can't?
Yep.
Yeah, I think Torment does.
I'm not even
Yeah,
proficient with the
I'm sure he
weapons
was
I
gonna
carry.
volunteer himself.
Oh god, this is going to end so terribly.
That's gonna be
Torment can teach the little fuckers how to fight.
I regret asking that question already.
That's so good.
Out of character, I wouldn't mind have trained a shield and spears for the halflings, but I do want to finish up this athletics training I have. So
Okay, Agatha, we'll see if your guard friends can be convinced to train these halflings, and if not, then we'll leave them in Torment's care. Oh god, they're going to die.
I'm sure I can cover part of the pay. I'm almost certain I can't cover all of the pay to get my friends to train.
I can pitch in some of mine. I don't have anything that is particularly worth anything, but I do have most of what Sir Wolfland's been paying me.
Yeah, I can help with that as well, and also to make them feel not as kind of, I don't know, to make them feel not as bad. I could also hop in and take part in the training, so that they're not only teaching halflings, they're teaching, you know.
Sure. I think we should be fine with the three of us pitching in. It's not terribly expensive to train with the spear and shield.
Well, first we're going to have to find some people who are willing to take our deal, which I don't think should be too hard between a lot of us.
Yeah, Barbara's helped me before whenever I needed it. As long as we pay her fair, I think we got this.
All right, let's go to town tomorrow then.
All right. So yeah, the tail end of your day passes uneventfully. Mister, you're hot micing again. There you go. Tail end of your day passes uneventfully, and yeah, the next day you make your way towards the slums outside of Sarkney.
So who's all coming?
I'll be going.
I suppose Reverend
I'm-
will come to explain the deal.
I mean, I don't need to come if you don't need me.
All right.
Guys, give me a minute. I'll be right back. But yes, I am coming.
I'm gonna prepare my training ritual.
He's just
Probably.
he's just picking up rocks and throwing them, getting ready to. He's like painting little faces on them and throwing them into the river.
Hey, they're gonna have to fetch those.
I'll probably continue my insight training.
Fair enough. Well,
I'll continue my training as well, I guess.
All right. Well, those of you that are traveling, you go and you arrive at the outskirts to the slums. You see quite a few halflings wandering around, going about their day.
Sorry, I was tabbed out. I'll be going with them as well.
For clarification, Emmy
So-
is not with you.
So, who looks the most promising?
Are any of them engaged in carpentry?
Make an investigation check.
Can I help him look?
Absolutely.
Did you roll portents for the day?
It's true, it's a new day. I don't think
Alright,
he
I'm
needs a portents.
I don't know. I got a spicy 11 he can use.
So, yes, you do see that there are 3 halflings right now working out of a little shop making some like a tiny chest of drawers.
Oh, so like the little knickknacks where you put jewelry in? Those kind of drawers?
I mean, this is a regular halfling-sized chest of drawers, but I do know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Little jewelry cases that look like an armoire.
Well, that looks
Uh,
promising.
All right. Um, does anyone talk to halflings? Like, j- do I just talk to them like they were human, or I've actually never met a halfling before.
I go and I explain the deal to the halflings and ask if there's anyone they know of that might be interested in such a deal.
you go to the carpenters.
Yes.
Okay. I say, fighting? Oh, I don't know anything about fighting. A couple of my youngins spend a lot of time up on the hill wrestling about, tossing each other around. Maybe ask them. I don't know, fight. You say something about you said something about you got a little staying in the castle? What I don't understand.
It's a
We have a tower.
It's not a
And yeah, it's not a castle,
castle,
it's
but
just a
it's
tower.
stone walls, a roof. It's solid.
Yeah, stone walls, a roof, a castle, right?
Small
Anyway,
castle.
so
really.
we're not going to be there this winter. We need someone to look after the place. Along with that tower, there's also, the broken down water mill, which if you turn into a lumber mill, you can keep whatever you end up making from it. The fighting is more of a contingency in case someone, attacks the tower for some reason. We're not expecting any trouble.
Well, see here, Sonny. I don't know. I don't know, cause yeah, me and my boys here, we might be able to fix up your lumber mill, but I don't think any of us know how to run a lumber mill. We got I know. Oh, yeah, I know. I get my grandpappy up here. He can run your lumber mill. He's a little crotchety though. I don't know. I don't know. I'll ask him. I'll ask him.
What do you mean by crotchy?
Crotchety. Like grumpy, pissed off all the
Oh,
time. I mean, that's nothing we haven't worked with before.
yeah.
How
It
bad
won't
could
be a
it be?
problem.
I will tell you, he's got some arthritis, pretty serious. It's pretty fierce. I don't think he's going to be picking up a spear anytime soon. So you might not have much luck with him. But
Well, he could
he
always
probably,
run the lumber mill and have, your sons and all staying there for the winter with him to act as assistants and, should it be necessary, man the spears.
ain't good.
We do
Ain't
plan
good
to
for much
provide
else.
We've got a budget
Uh,
for 12 people. I think if one person can run a lumber mill, it's fine if they stay in the castle while they're running the lumber mill. But I don't think we're going to be able to pay them as much. I am, however,
How far
Two.
away is this castle of yours? Is it this one here up here in town? They won't let me near it.
No, it's out in the woods. We left this morning. It's not terribly far, maybe a few hours away. How far
As
is
meta,
that?
I
Like
think it's
on
only
foot?
like an hour away, right?
I think on horseback it's an hour away.
Yeah, on horseback that's probably less than an hour and a half, but on foot it's like a 3-hour trip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so maybe 3, at most 4 hours walking. Not
Oh, my fucking feet are gonna hurt. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll get the boys together.
Robert, we have a car.
There's me, these two over here. If you guys want to fetch the two on the hill for me while I go talk to Grandpappy, that'll be 6 of us.
Robert, we have a cart, right?
We do? Huh, we probably should have told the Masons that. That probably would have made their lives a lot easier.
Yeah, you do not have a cart. Now there was a cart that delivered the stone, but they fucked off. They
And they
dropped
kept
that
their
stone
cart.
right there in the dirt, and they fucked right off.
We should probably buy a cart.
Go
How
ahead.
much does it cost
I'll go
to
fetch
buy
the
a
other
cart?
halflings.
How expensive is a cart?
Oh, what do you think a cart costs in the player's handbook?
I don't have it up right now.
Not a
I will have
carriage,
to
a
check.
cart,
Let's
or
see. A cart costs 15 gold.
There you go.
15 gold.
oh, it's like a DC8. I'll help you with that.
All right. So while they're doing stuff, you go into town and see around if you can find a cart for sale.
Yep.
All right. Well, the both of you looking, so make a pair of wealth checks.
That's not good.
I don't get better luck.
Hmm.
I don't
Somebody
suppose
sells
someone-
you a cart, and it falls apart just outside of town.
Shit.
You make it almost all the way up to the halfling houses, and it just falls apart right there in the street.
I
is
don't
it
suppose it's
salvageable?
You don't know. You don't know nothing about building a cart.
So what's wrong with it? Did a wheel fall off?
Among other things.
this is something that mending can fix.
Well, here's the thing. 2 of the wheels kept rolling when the rest of the cart stopped, and one of the wheels broke. Yeah, it looks like whatever the stick is between the wheels is busted, and
Piston
yeah.
2 and off into a bush
Hey.
somewhere.
Yeah. And it turns out actually the inside of this cart's got a lot of water damage. These boards are pretty rotten.
Agatha,
Mhm.
I think I found out why this cart was so cheap.
Yeah, I guess we got what we paid for, huh?
Oh shit.
But
Might be able to turn it into firewood.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's probably all it's good for now. Hmm.
Well, we never went to town, right? It's a real shame we didn't have time to find a cart. I'm just gonna finish the trek back to the halfling slums.
Yeah. You were most of the way back there before the cart fell apart, so it's like a 5-minute walk. All right. Yeah, so this guy and his family all meet up, and yeah, they say so. It's 3 or 4 hours, huh?
Thereabouts.
Shit. Well, if we leave now, I don't know if we're gonna make it back home before it gets dark.
Well, we have a longhouse on the grounds. You're welcome to stay the night in it.
Make a persuasion roll.
Could me or Sleuth
I-
help with that?
Can I portents that?
Yes.
Portent 15.
What's your mod? Okay. He says, well, I'll get the missus to throw some dinners together for us, and we'll head on down. He walks in the house, and you hear like a back and forth between an obviously like slightly argumentative old couple, and yeah, so they walk out, and everybody starts getting ready. It's pretty much they lead the way.
All right, I lead them back to the compound.
Say,
Alrighty.
Revert, is this good? Do we need more people?
Feel free to grab some more people. I got 6. I'm sure the rest of you can manage to find some on your own.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you fellas happen to know anyone you're particularly friendly with that you'd like to come along with?
One of the younger fellas says, "Oh well, I was friendly with your mama last night."
Hey!
Not the first time that I've heard that, and it won't be the last.
You know, comments like that'll get you made into the flag for the castle.
Yeah, just don't say that around the Goliath.
Excuse me? The what?
He's not there often, but
He's a rather curt fella. Don't mind him much.
Inner.
You can hear one of those other younger ones say, "Shit, I don't know about this, Paul.
just
Wandering off into the woods, gonna meet these fellas Goliath friend. I don't know."
hopefully you're not going to meet him. He's going to be leaving for the winter, and we're only really going to need you to stay there while he's
You
not
know what?
there.
Bears leave for the winter too. You know what they do first? They eat. They eat a lot.
Oh God, our friend isn't a savage. He wouldn't dare.
Are you sure about
I'm
that?
not
He
sure
does
what kind of
joke
tales
about
you've heard
eating
about
people
Goliaths,
pretty
but
often.
no.
Idle is tempted to ask, "Are you sure?" But she's going to stay quiet for now.
But yeah, so with a few of these back and forths, your trip passes pretty uneventfully. A couple of them fellas start looking over that lumber mill. They seem pretty confident they can get it rebuilt if you give them a little bit of time.
They'll have the whole winter. The sooner they get it up and running, the sooner they can start profiting from it. And then they get to profit from it until we show back up.
Putting and updating the castle and the keep while they're doing it, I suppose, couldn't they?
If they wanted to. I wasn't going to make them. The tower's mostly complete at this point.
I should get a kitten.
So, just real quick, Reverend, you were the one doing most of the businessing with them, so why don't you make an insight check, just real quick, because they come up to you and they tell you that they think they can get it done. They're still not all that sure about all this. Yeah. All right.
So how full of it are they?
They seem pretty convincing. They don't sound that excited, but you've convinced them.
Okay, that works for me.
Are me and Sleuth still in town, or do we go with?
That's up to y'all.
I was going back with Revert.
Loki did not come with us, correct?
I don't see why he woulda. You could have asked him.
Well, we got tomorrow anyway.
Alright,
What
we-
time of the day is it right now, actually?
Well, the same time they left, it'd have been a little after lunchtime, probably. By the time you get back to the towers, probably likely to be maybe 5 o'clock.
I think I'm gonna scope today and see if any halflings look like I don't know, like they're in fighting condition, and
All
I
right,
don't
make an
know what I'm
investigation
really
check.
looking for. Sure.
I didn't hear you. You went robot-y. I think that's on my end. All right, I think that's a pretty good investigation check. So
What'd I find?
yeah. So there's there's a whole band of these guys. Hold on a minute. There are 8. There are 8 halflings, all sitting around in this. There's a chicken pen, and there's 8 of these halflings, and they are they got these big roosters, and they've decked them out with like razors on their claws, and you got halflings going in there with like daggers and facing off against 3 chickens at a time.
And their
They
names
just-
Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy,
Wait.
Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey.
Did I hear that right? The halflings are cockfighting with the roosters.
That's right. 3-on-1.
Oh my
It's a
god!
single half.
I
It's a
think
half-
Agatha's just gonna
amazing.
like gawk for a moment, like, what the fuck?
5
It's
gold
a
on
halfling
chicken.
with a knife squaring off against 3 razor-taloned roosters.
Yep. And it looks like 4 of these guys are at least 4 of these guys are fighters that are fighting today.
I
I'd
think
be
I'll
more
talk to the
impressed.
fighters after they're done.
I'd be more impressed if they were swans, because swans are giant assholes.
All
They
right.
are.
Well, by the time the activities are done, you find that all 4 of these fighters got the shit knocked out of them, and one of them unfortunately did not survive.
Oh my god!
We should
Holy
hire the
shit.
roosters. Hire the
Ooh.
roosters.
Deploy combat roosters.
The battle cocks.
But
Okay, so I'll talk
but
to
the
3
other
of them.
but the other 3, they did in fact beat 3 roosters at a time. So
Wow. That was mighty impressive of y'all. Damn.
well, thank you. And this guy, you can see he got like a gash across his lip, so he's like bleeding while he's talking. There's blood spattering out of him.
Oh. Do I have something equivalent of a handkerchief? Let me look at my inventory.
I mean, he's got a handkerchief. He can't talk and cover his mouth with it.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Say,
he's got his missus up there with him, trying to like get him to hold still so she could basically sew his lip back together.
yeah. Say, I'm actually in the market of some gentlemen such as yourself to look over some property of a friend of mine while we're going to be away for the season coming up. Would you happen to be interested?
Property, yeah. And when he does that, he's gonna like hack He's just gonna like hack a big spit wad off to his left hand side, and it's just blood. It's just a ton of blood. And he's gonna say, watching property. Uh, you got like a tool shed somewhere, or what are we talking about?
Oh no. We got what's it? I think a small fort and some what do we call them? Fortifications of some walls. And we're actually looking over for yeah, for idol, yes. Yeah,
For who?
for Miss Idol.
Oh, who the
It's
fuck?
The peasant girl from Skeen, the village that probably half these people don't know about.
it's a retainer from Sir Wolflin.
Lord
Oh,
Wolfram.
what?
Don't mind that. Don't mind
No,
that.
I heard Lord Wolflin. He's
Uh,
that new fella. He's that new fellow who's living in that castle up there, right?
Yeah, he is. It's not that property though. It's a property. It's about like 3 hour walk from here. I'll show you tomorrow around it if you'd like.
What the fuck am I gonna get for watching your property for you?
Oh, got a nice defensible place to sleep for the seasons coming up. I know around here, halflings may not be as appreciated, and normally outside the walls and such.
Fire, that's right.
Yeah, you'll definitely be in some walls, and you feel free to sleep inside the fort. Fuck, what do you call it? A fort? It's like a small castle.
You're so fancy. So fancy. I don't know, man. I mostly like to sleep up there in the open air. But I don't know if you're gonna pay me. I'll think about defending your castle for you.
I can throw in some spear and shield training, certainly. I have to find out more about details of payment and such and what would be expected. I didn't expect to actually find anyone today, but that was quite exceptional. I had to just say something and, ask about. Where could I find you gentlemen tomorrow?
Well, if we don't pick up any work, we'll be right back here. We might be able to swing something though. In which case, you're not gonna see us till we're ready to start drinking. If that should happen, well, we usually drink up at this fucker's house. And he's gonna point to one of the other fighters, the dead one. So he's gonna say, I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow night.
Pity about that. I'm sure I'll find out. We'll play by ear. All right. Well, you gentlemen have a fine evening, and see you tomorrow. Because honestly, I don't have enough details.
You just have a fine evening yourself.
Thank you kindly. When did Agatha turn Southerner? What the heck?
I was gonna ask.
I told you it's not Agatha.
Get the knives.
All right.
Get the roosters.
Man, you just hop to the other side of that wall, and there's a whole different accent.
So one of these halflings is clearly the one who's like trained these roosters. So not only do these guys have daggers, but they've also got like rope, right? So that what they're supposed to be doing in the fights is either like they get scored, right? If they restrain all three roosters, that's like their max. That's their maxed out. That's a perfect, all right? That's bowling a perfect game right there. Killing all the roosters is kind of a failure, but at least you lived. So you know, like the more of them that you can tie up without killing them, the more points you get. And that's probably designed that way. So this motherfucker who you see in the pen doesn't have to train so many roosters.
Yeah. Okay, so either this place where we're at right now or this fucker's house. Okay. Okay. That was out of character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Agatha's just gonna finish her athletics training of the day.
All right. As you're walking away, you definitely hear several of those halflings like kind of group together and start talking amongst each other. And that one you were talking to does point your direction.
Can I make a perception check to see exactly what they're saying?
Sure. Well, shit.
Jeez.
I mean, it's mostly profanity and a lot of southern drawl. But, you know, it just sounds like he's talking about some hoity-toity castle and how he's going to be a big shot.
I will snicker a bit as I'm walking away and going to where I'm, going to train.
Yeah. And the rest of them are all like, as he's talking about that, they all start uh, making like cracking wise and pretending like, oh, he's the master of the castle. Everybody bow down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, how many chickens did the restrain AGR? Or roosters, excuse me.
The ones that lived, well, the one you talked to got 2 of them. The other guys restrained 1. That guy who died, he managed to restrain 2, and he had a hold of one of them, but it got a talon loose and right across his throat. He was real close to that high score.
Oof.
Yeah, it was real close to that perfect game.
So close, yet so far away. Yeah, whenever I'm done training for the day and come back to the fort, I will inform Miss Idell of what I saw. More potential candidates.
Do you mention the roosters?
Oh, I certainly mentioned the roosters. I could not unsee that. I also mentioned how one totally died. But I saw them wrestle these roosters, and they're almost as big as, and they're fighting 3 of them at the same time, mind you. In
I'm,
this, yeah.
I'm wondering if we have enough in our budget to get the roosters too.
Honestly,
Well-
I'd almost rather have the roosters.
Yeah. See, here's my
No, but hold
my
on.
question.
We need the roosters and those guys to train more roosters.
Well, here's my question.
To fight more guys.
One, how much would it be to just get the guy who trains the roosters? And then 2, I'm concerned that, getting some halflings that they live their lives fighting. I don't want them to be getting conflict with the family that we've already hired. I was thinking maybe we ask the family that we've already hired if they know another family or another group of halflings or friends of theirs that that they're already comfortable with, so that they won't get in conflict. Because the last thing we want is to come back to see the tower, on its side because they got into a fight between,
How are
because we only have 6 right now. We didn't get all 12 in one group, so we don't know if they're going to be compatible with each other.
Yeah, I was talking to 3 actually.
What if we get like the 6, since they seem to be like less fighting focused, to focus on the lumber mill project and fight if they have to, whereas like the actual fighters are going to be more guard capacity, like they're on watch, like they're actually focused on defending the castle.
Yeah, see, but the thing is, they're not going to have anything to do all day, so they're going to start a fight.
That's why we
It's
get the
just
roosters
bound to
too.
happen.
Yeah,
If they have
generally
nothing to do,
speaking,
they're going to start a fight.
generally speaking, one of the worst things you can have is a bunch of bored soldiers. Historically speaking, that does not end well.
Well, hungry soldiers
Also, bored sailors.
and hungry.
Which is why you want the whole soldiering part to be secondary to the business part.
Exactly.
So I think we should go get more halflings that we know are already friendly and are not going to get in a fight with the group that we've already hired. And maybe we hire just the halfling that trains those fighting
Battlecock.
battlecocks. And that's an extra layer of defense, but that's only one. We're not going to get 6. We're not going to end up
Body
with
train 'em.
a massacre on our hand. I just think it's a really bad idea to start hiring, because you guys only hired 6. You didn't get all 12 at once. And I think that our number one priority should be to make sure that they're not going to kill each other while we're gone. Because I don't care if they die, but they're going to cause property damage.
Well, that's not very nice.
I mean, I'm not going to try to kill them. They're not elves, but
Well, that's just racist.
I haven't talked to halflings much. The ones that I've talked to seemed kind of rude to me, so I don't know.
that confirms my suspicions.
I'm joking. I'm half joking. There's much more to people than just first impressions.
He's only half joking.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was waiting. Oh my god.
I'd be willing to go with you guys tomorrow if you're going to go back.
There's a suggestion I was expecting to hear I haven't heard yet. It's not a big deal because it was a bad idea.
Is it, can we purchase a small army of battlecocks? Because we should, and we should use it on the heathens we're going on a crusade again.
I think that's an idea we should pitch to Wolfland. We just don't have a budget for an army of that scale.
Battlecock.
Perhaps
We
the
have-
town guard would like a spare barrack.
I really don't think it's out of our budget to hire the halfling that trains them.
See, but that brings a problem up. What are they going to train on? Or who are they going to train on? And they are going to have as much free time as the halflings fighting them would to get away from the person training them, and the family would then be defenseless.
I'm training them.
Well, the family's going to get trained with spear and shield, right?
Yeah, but from what Agatha said, these are already experienced fighters, or at least experienced cockfighters. Word sounds so wrong.
Yeah, they can hold a dagger very well and wrestle. They know how to fight.
And we're going to be giving these people
They're great
a
cockfighters.
crash course in how to stab somebody with a sharp stick and not get stabbed themselves. A crash course.
Avoid the pokey bit.
We are showing them the pointy end of a pointy stick and how to not have that pointy end get stuck into them.
I just don't want the halflings killing each other and destroying our tower.
I don't think they're going to kill each other.
I mean,
Which
there
I
is also Loki. I think he's going to stay, right? Has Wolfland said anything about him coming?
we can go ask.
I suppose we'll ask Loki. What does Loki tell us?
He has no idea what you're talking about. Get out of his yurt.
Okay. If it's not like after hours, I would love to go talk to the family.
Sure. Yeah, they seem to be settling in, having a little bit of like it looks like a peas pottage. Basically, it's just like they've just made a little fire and they've made mushy peas in a clay pot.
Great. I'll kind of gesture. I assume they're sitting down, right?
Yeah.
I'll gesture, kind of like, "Can I join you?"
Yeah, they'll let you sit down.
Great. I'll introduce myself. My name's Emily. I'm with the group that's going to be leaving this castle to you guys. But we need more than just 6 to defend this place, as you can probably tell. But we don't want you guys to get in conflict with the other people that we hire. Is there any other family of halflings or groups of friends of yours that you know that you would not get in conflict with if you were both living within this compound for the winter?
They spend the next 45 minutes detailing every little feud they've had with every other person in every other branch of their family and every other family in the area. And I think pretty quickly you realize that all of these halflings know all of the other halflings, and they all secretly hate each other whenever the other halflings are not in the same area.
Could I make like an insight check to try to tell which ones would be least which ones that they described would be the least least
Cool.
liability?
Go ahead.
DC of 75.
Having that insight proficiency would really help right now.
Oh,
With the 20, you're pretty sure that they're like, based on what you've seen of halflings thus far, you're pretty sure culturally they're the sort to make passive aggressive remarks and talk behind each other's backs constantly, but like they never lay a hand on each other. Like they have a very close society. They're all kind of family in a way.
And I get that even about the ones that are like fighting
Yeah,
the way that they describe it.
they're
Okay.
they're a little rough around the edges, but
Okay. Okay. Well,
Smacks the
I'll
shit
thank
out
them
of
for their time. And do I notice that that they have? Oh no, we have a creek. They have water. I will thank them for their time, and I will walk back to the.
alrighty.
So idle,
No.
great. Lord Wolflin did ask us to get supplies.
Yeah.
When and how are you expecting to get those?
As soon as we get a cart, I looked yesterday, but there wasn't anybody selling one. So I'll head back in with the group tomorrow and look for a cart.
Okay. And I'm thinking if they're inside the tower and we need supplies in case they're sieged within the tower, they're probably not going to be able to get out of the tower to the creek to get water.
I mean, generally speaking, the way a siege works is you don't want them surrounding the tower, you want them surrounding your wall.
I don't think the tower is defensible enough to hold off a siege even of just a dozen people.
Make an intelligence check.
Wait, you wanted me to build it to hold off a siege? I was just going to have it hold off bandits every now and then. Siege is a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah. Besides, guys, a siege seems fairly unlikely.
Well, it certainly can't stop siege weapons. It
If-
certainly can't stop people from surrounding it and starving you out. There's no access to water. But, you know, the walls are 6 feet thick, which is as thick as the walls in the castle, from what you could tell. So, I mean, it's it'll keep you safe from some arrow fire. It'll keep you safe till you starve, unless they decide to hit you with some heavy artillery.
if the tower comes under attack, then either they can sneak out at night and we'll try and provide at least a couple bows so that they can cover themselves, or they're screwed either way because the attackers have just too many people or too heavy of weaponry for them to have a chance.
Okay. I was just thinking maybe it would be good to have some, like barrels of water in the basement.
I mean, I can pick up some barrels and we can fill them. But if there's going to be a prolonged conflict, I think they have bigger problems than resources.
That's your tower. It's just a suggestion that I came up with.
It's going to have to be a pretty well-made barrel if it's going to last the winter, isn't it? Stagnant water and all that.
I mean, you're not going to be able to keep fresh water in the barrel. I mean, like over the whole winter. You can certainly fill a barrel with water when you know, and just like clean it out regularly and refill it every few days, and just hope that you have a full barrel in there when a siege happens. That'll last you a while, but not an incredibly long time.
It is a bunch of halflings, so we're going to want small barrels. Maybe large buckets instead of barrels.
It's not a requirement. It's just something that I thought of. I'm not a military expert. I don't.
Actually, you raise a good point.
What?
Does anyone have military experience?
What are we trying to figure out?
Work with the guard. I think that's about it. How do you say your character's name? Barloin? Barloin?
Bear crutch.
Barely.
Barlian.
Bear
Barlian.
loin.
How about you, Barlian?
Bear crutch.
You look heavily armored and you got a big sword.
Yeah, I got paladin training, and I'm very strong enough to hit people with this big.
Make a history check.
Could
Or
I
rally it.
guidance him?
Sure, absolutely.
That's an extra. Okay, well, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, add your D4.
1.
You gonna add your D4 to it? There you go. A 7. Yeah, you read about a siege one time. You don't remember much.
I mean, I read about this siege. There were soldiers and things. I don't really remember what they used, but yeah, that's about it.
What kind of tank is that?
You're pretty
That's,
sure in the story the guys took the castle eventually.
I remember the castle fell to the invaders, so we may not want to use the stories to.
Which you don't remember.
There's a lot to be learned from failure, mostly what not to do,
Mm-hmm.
but that's sometimes as important as what you want to do.
Well, I've had experience in the
But-
guard AGR. Do I have any helpful insight to this?
Sure. You make another history check.
Is that StarCraft?
Nope.
That's a negative.
All I
Yeah,
know
so
is
you do
definitely check the
remember-
ballista.
You do
Check the
remember.
ballista
Yeah.
regularly.
Yeah, you do remember people have talked about the tower at Telmont had like before. Because you know it had like a history, but nobody comes up here. You don't remember anybody specifically knowing what happened there other than like, you know, basically it got raised.
Agatha
Rip.
read the same book, remembers everything except the tower falling. So, we need a cart, food, and water. Anything else? No? Guess not? Okay.
Oh,
I
we
don't
need
know,
to
it's
buy
your
winter
tower.
gear, I think.
Um, I'll check with Revert. Uh, well, if you need anything that might be in town when I go tomorrow, just let me know. And I will look for Revert, starting in his room or study, whatever he has.
You go back down to the main floor where he's working at the table.
Revert,
Yo,
we are trying to get the place stocked for the winter. We're gonna need food, some buckets for barrels, large buckets for water, cart to bring it back. Can you think of anything else? And do you need anything from town when I go tomorrow?
yeah, I could use a warm cloak, winter gear type stuff. I'll actually probably be going with you because I want to get some spell components.
Oh, we should probably stock up on those, shouldn't we? All right. Then I'll see you tomorrow.
Sure.
There you go, Revart.
That's
Dress
gonna
this around like a tank.
Idle's just gonna go back to her room and wait for the next day. Liamon's tiny hut ritual cast.
Mm,
Wait, if you have a room, why are you bothering with the hut?
Because it's warm.
So is your room. It's
Nani?
got a
The
fireplace.
hut-
And it's also the middle of summer, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, it's getting towards the tail end of summer.
I thought winter was in 2 weeks. Oh no, we're
No.
leaving in 2 weeks, and winter will be starting by when we're expecting to get back. Okay. I don't need tiny hut then.
Alrighty. So the evening passes uneventfully. Actually, what's everybody's passive perception?
15.
14.
All
You
right.
don't
9.
even have to ask.
Emmy,
9, but my horse is at 11.
Emmy, you hear some groaning from the northeast, like this distant kind of. I don't know. It sounds like it's some mixture of the sound of a tree falling and also somebody just crying at the same time. It's hard to tell, but it goes on for 15 solid minutes. It doesn't get any closer to you though.
How dark it is out? How dark is it outside?
Well, let's look. You got one moon that's near full, so it's brightish, not super bright.
Okay. Um. And does it sound like it's coming from within the
It sounds
within?
pretty far away, and it sounds pretty upset, and it's kind of northeast. It doesn't sound like it's within the wall.
Okay. So it would count as dim light outside right now.
Yeah, within like something like 60 feet from you anyway.
I'm just wondering, like, is it darkness or dim light? Because that affects.
What did I say? If you've got less than a full moon, I think it's still dark.
Okay, so if I went outside, I would be in darkness.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. I'll hop out of bed, go outside,
All right,
grab all my shit,
sure.
and then just go
You try to be
quiet.
stealthy?
Yes, very stealthy.
Okay. All right, make a stealth check.
Do I get advantage since I'm invisible?
No. Because this is only affecting people, like, this is only hearing related.
Fucking hell! Am I ever
Okay.
gonna do well on my
Proceed
stealth
to
checks?
wake up everyone in the party.
You accidentally stub your toe on one of the bed frames, and I believe every person in the tower wakes up.
Oh, we're under attack. Who's
Agatha
getting set
comes
on
out.
fire?
I just put my head in my hand and my foot, and I just sit down and I'm just fuck.
Huh?
Did you have to?
What's
Emmy,
going on?
What's wrong?
What's happening?
Who's in? I assume that I'm in one of the rooms that has 2 beds.
I don't know what the bunking arrangements were.
Well, I put Idle at the top since it's her tower. She gets the
Makes
nice
sense.
room.
I mean, Emmy and Agatha are invited to stay with Idle because she likes them, and they are also female.
I mean, I would like a bed if there's a bed open.
River does not sleep in one of the beds. He has his own arrangements.
So I'm just gonna call dibs that Agatha and Emmy take floor 3.
All right.
I'll just yell out, "There's no one attacking. I just stubbed my toe. Everyone can go back to sleep."
It's the middle of the night. What are you doing?
I will go up the stairs to Idol's room.
Okay.
And then if everyone is quiet again, can I still hear?
Yeah, faintly in the distance.
Idol, do you hear that?
Hear what?
Does
I'll point.
Agatha hear that?
Well, I mean, if you're asking and Agatha can hear the question, then like anybody who can hear you ask that can
I would have
actively
asked
make a
quiet.
perception check.
I would have asked quietly since I'm in Idol's room. I don't know if Agatha followed me into Idol's room. I just went upstairs one story.
If Idol invited me to her room, I would have gone.
Okay.
I will poke my head into the owl because it has much better hearing and vision than Idol.
Okay. Where is the owl? Just hanging out on the roof?
On the roof, or if there's a window, then inside the windowsill.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that owl can definitely hear. There's just like this just miserable groaning, and you can just hear this kind of cracking sound of timbers just intermixed with this horrible wailing groan.
I'm going to have the owl fly and see if it can figure out what that noise is.
Okay, as the owl moves northeast towards the noise, you begin to pick up more noises in the distance. Like the noise starts off at this one point in front of you, but as you fly towards it, the sound comes from further north and further east. But that same sound is still in the same place, so it almost sounds like it's almost reverberating across the forest. But it's this sound of these multiple points of horrible groaning, kind of all converging. But
Can the owl tell which one is the source? Is one of them louder than the others?
yes, the one you started following is the loudest of them. It is probably the closest of them. It sounds the closest.
The owl will go see what it is if it can.
Okay. Does your owl have dark vision?
120
Presumably.
feet.
Great. All right. Well, you fly over the forest. Make a perception check. There's a lot of stuff obscuring, so I think you have disadvantage.
All right.
Is this hearing and sound?
Well, the owl has keen sight.
No, you can
Generally.
hear. You can definitely hear where the sound's coming from, but spotting the source of the sound is different.
Owl has advantage on hearing and sight.
Okay. Well, then
So
flat roll. Okay. Yes, there is definitely this one tree in the woods, pretty far off from the tower. Like you could barely see the tower from here, and it's just making this horrible sound. And there are other ones further off that are making this horrible sound, kind of in response. And it's just a big. I mean, it's it's like a medium creature, but it's I don't know, it's about as big as Torment, and it looks like a tree, and it looks grumpy. It's just it seems like it might be holding a fallen log, and yeah.
Hmm. And the tower is barely visible from this distance.
Yeah, it's pretty far off.
So this is probably outside of the half mile of our property.
Yeah.
This isn't. This doesn't happen to be the deadwood that Loki picked out, right?
You don't know.
I mean, this is off of our property, and Loki presumably did it on his property. In clear conditions to the horizon from the ground, you can see about 10 miles, at least near where I live. But that's probably
It's just because there's like stuff obscuring. Like there is a lot of forest here. Now,
yeah,
if you fly up high, I mean, you can see the tower, but it's nowhere near you guys. You're not 10 miles off, but
yeah, like 10 miles is on a clear day, like literally nothing in view.
what's your range on your ability to see out of this guy's eyes? Is there
I
one? You
It's
can't give him
infinite on the
commands, right?
plane.
Yeah, so you're good. But I mean, it looks like some of these are coming from like the foothills of the mountains and stuff. So they're not too close to the tower.
well, the source of the noise has been identified, so I think the owl's done his job and it would start heading back.
Alrighty.
Could I tell how many sources of noise there were?
I mean, as you approach this thing, you definitely heard at least two more, but it's possible there's more than that.
Okay. All right. It sounds a lot more like the area of expertise for Revert and maybe Wilfred or Loki, so I'll ask them tomorrow in the morning.
Okay.
What did you see?
Some tree thing about the size of Torment. Um, I was gonna ask Revert about it in the morning. I'm sure he would not be happy if he was woken up a second time in the middle of the night, or if he's even in the tower.
Is it moving?
I think it was crying. There was a log or something that it was holding. But it is way off in the distance to the northeast, well off our property. But if it's going to be a problem, I'd rather deal with it sooner instead of later. Just don't tell Torment about it yet because he would probably run off alone to fight something.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Well, thanks for doing that. I was gonna go out myself.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, but they can't see me when I'm out there.
They
I'm
can
able to
hear
use
you.
the darkness to cover me.
Look, I have a barn owl. It flies literally next to silently, and it can see from the air. It's a lot safer than you going out. If there's something in the middle of the night, let me know so I can
You
figure.
hear a crack of thunder and it starts to rain.
Well, I
Wilfred.
guess we won't be listening to that anymore.
Wilfred.
Mm,
Are there any ravens or crows nearby?
Make a perception check.
Can I help him with that?
Sure.
This is the most important role of the night.
Wait, did you say that you're gonna try to listen to ravens, or do you just kind of like look out the window? Because I would cast guidance if it looked like you were trying to listen again, but I
said,
wouldn't if you didn't. If you just kind of
I said Wilfred's name because I know he's ominous like that from experience.
okay.
I mean, I'm
So
not
I
being
would
very
cast
subtle.
guidance on you, and then I would try to listen myself.
So I get guidance, you're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Should probably give yourself guidance. Cough, cough.
You know, that's how this works.
Make your roll. All right.
Ow.
So you're not sure you hear anything at first. There's a lot of loud rain and thunder. But after a minute looking out there, you don't hear any ravens, but you hear this sound of metal on wood. This thunk, and then the sound of like timbers splitting. And you listen a little more, and you hear it again. And you look around, and you see Wilfred come around from behind the house down there, just in the rain, carrying his wood axe and a pile of logs. And he just looks up directly at your window.
I immediately duck.
cue the lightning flash.
Yes, and there is a flash of lightning. There you go.
We're
Spooky.
going to have to talk, Wilfred, but it can wait till the morning. Just stop being ominous in the middle of the night. I'm trying to sleep. Oh, and there's you might be in trouble with some tree people or something.
I'm gonna say a quick prayer to both protect myself from whatever creepy spirit Wilfred has called
Wilfred
and
is the creepy
awoken,
spirit.
and to get and also pray to get rid of to exercise uh, the spirit out of Wilfred.
I'm sorry. What?
I'm just gonna say a quick prayer to both protect myself and try to see if I can pray that Wilfred is released from whatever spirit is possessing him,
Okay.
or that he's
Roll a
awoken.
d100 for me.
Pray the gay away, except with ominousness instead of homosexuality.
Praying the cray away.
It begins to rain more heavily. Nothing else of interest happens.
I
I'm just
look
going to
up.
deposit the firewood inside.
I
Yep.
look up, back to Wilfred.
Wilfred is gone.
Wilfred. God, I'm like Timmy Turner's dad with the Dinglebergs.
Dinglebird.
Alright, well, we should get back to sleep.
Yeah. Is it okay if I sleep in this room?
Sure, I invited you, didn't I?
Yeah, I just, I like sleeping in beds when I can. Really,
I have beds in the rest of the rooms. Did I forget that again?
Wilfred's just gonna stick his head in, have a good night, and then leaves.
Did I hear him walk
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, and also Agatha would have heard it.
Okay.
You just hear this slow, steady patter of footsteps up the stairs.
Creaking of the floorboards.
Yeah, and this creak, and then this crack of thunder. And then just when it ends, you hear, "Have a good night."
I can tell that it's Wilfred, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
If
just glad
if I hadn't
So I'm
heard
gonna
him,
lower the longbow in my hand.
yeah, if I hadn't heard him walk up, and I just heard the noise, I would have turned around, knocked an arrow, and fired.
Yeah, Agatha's just like fucking under her bed with the longbow sideways, just under there, just aiming at the stairway.
And Idle is thoroughly convinced that we have enough eldritch horrors on our side that nothing can make its way through here. Like, because
Alright.
Revert and Wilfred, this top of this tower is the safest place on the planet.
But everything's fine. The evening passes by.
Okay, so um, morning routines. I'm going to stop by the Halfling family place when it's a decent hour to do so.
Mm.
And ask if they need anything from town for their stay here.
I'd actually like to go with to get some separate purchases and such. I'd like to be nearby if you ever would like help with anything or whatever. But I plan on getting winter gear and such. I wouldn't ask you to purchase that for me.
Well, the man up there, and one of the younger men, they're both going to be like, well, you bring the missus up here, and the young man's going to ask you to bring the girly suite on up there, and say they probably know more about what kind of victuals to bring up. They don't know that much about all that.
Wait, GR, who are you addressing? I'm sorry, I'm playing another game.
Idle.
Okay, cool.
So I'm not sure how clear this was. We do have a budget for 12 people, so we can, if there are enough people here, we can pay everybody, but we only have a budget for 12 people. Personally, as the custodian of the castle, I don't mind if you have more people as long as they understand that we cannot afford to pay them for the entirety of the winter.
They seem confused at the idea that those people are going to get paid. That it's just like, yeah, but they're gonna get fed, right? We're all gonna get fed, right? Just get the missus up here. She'll make you a list of whatever we're gonna need for the next few days, and you just leave it here. We'll get to work on this lumber mill up here.
I can do that.
I look at Idle, and I look back at the half, and then I look back at Idle, and I kind of pull her over for a second, away, and then whisper, "They're not getting fed. They have to make their own food."
We're giving them supplies to make food.
Okay, but you have to tell them that they're not getting any food.
I actually can't hear what you're saying, so just assume that we're whispering.
Okay, I'm like, we're not gonna be giving them food. they have to know that they're not going to be fed by us. We're not going to be here. They're going to have to make their own food.
We did tell them that we're not going to be here, and that's why they're here in the place. That's why they're asking for his wife and crush, girlfriend. I don't know. Other people, they don't know how to cook. I'm assuming. Or they're just not good at
Well,
it.
it seemed like from the way that they were saying it is that they were expecting to get fed by us. AGR, did I hear you correctly, or did I mishear?
I'm not sure your character would know the difference.
Okay.
So
Look, if you want to bring the matter up, go right ahead. But I don't think it's a problem. I'm pretty sure they understand we're not going to be here, which is why they are.
Okay. I'm gonna follow Idol's lead, and I'm not gonna bring it up.
All right.
all right.
Um, I'll find everybody, ask if they need anything from town, and gather everybody who's coming with me to town.
I'll be heading out with you.
Reverend
As will
goes to
I.
town.
Reverend
right.
always goes to town.
Pullman
I'll
is
go to
going to
town with
begin
you.
training the halflings.
All right. So it's still raining this morning, but only very lightly. It's kind of this rainy, drizzly looking kind of ugly morning. But yeah, you make your way back to town.
All right. They did request a few extra people to come along, mostly to cook, I think, or for company, which I really don't mind because we're not going to be here. Rever, you said you needed some supplies. Could you pick some up for me as well?
What do you need?
Everything that you do.
Okay, sure.
I will hand Revert whatever money I have on me to pay him for that.
All right.
And I will go look for the Mrs. and Sweetheart that were mentioned.
All right.
Honey and darling.
I mean, they don't take too long to find. You managed to track them down.
Did I get the names of the halflings that were at the tower?
Presumably you'd heard a name or two, but I don't have names for.
All right, I'll just go up to them and say, your friend and husband, respectively. I think husband.
I mean, they're just both up there hanging laundry.
Wasn't very specific about it.
I mean, you've seen these people before. They were hanging around when the previous conversation took place.
Idol's also 15 and doesn't talk to halflings ever.
Yeah.
They were requesting that you come to the tower with them for the winter. We will be providing the food supplies, and I think they were hoping to have you stay with them and help cook because I don't know if they know how to.
Well, the wife is immediately like, I was enjoying the peace and quiet last night. Well, all right, I suppose we'll tag along with you. You heading up there now?
My friends have some supplies that they need to get from town.
All right, that'll give us some time to pack and to make some lunches for everybody. Why don't you just come back when you're ready?
Are there any supplies you need from town while we're going to be in there?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'll just make you a little shopping list. You just give me a minute, and yeah, she's gonna look around in her larder. You'll be able to see from the front window. And she's gonna come back and she's just gonna list off a whole long list of things that you ought to get. Mostly dry goods.
Yeah, presumably something like grains that will last a while if there's...
Yeah. She's gonna ask you about what kind of stuff you have up there, if you have an oven that you can use to bake anything, or if she's gonna be having to make everything over campfire.
We have a hearth.
We have an oven in the tower.
We should have an oven somewhere. I don't remember where it is. Honestly, I just
It's in the
forgot.
first floor. It's right fucking there when you walk in.
I eat out of the larder. I don't cook stuff, I just eat.
You mad lad.
Mad lass.
I meant what I said.
There's nothing somewhere. I never use it, but we have one.
Well, all right then. We can just. Oh, well, we can make some fresh bread, and that'll be lovely.
I'll be able to give you a tour once we get there and show you around the place.
Yeah. She'll seem excited enough about all that, and yeah, she'll get right to packing up some stuff.
All right. I will go find Revert then.
Revert has found no supplies.
So, um, Revert,
Yo.
how's the procurement of supplies coming?
The foot-tall gnome is just standing in front of you with empty.
How many supplies do you see around me?
You know, I should have seen this coming, so I'll take half responsibility for this. But you should have also seen this coming, so I'm not taking full responsibility.
I blame Wilfred.
That's fair. We can blame Wilfred. Actually, we can blame him and Torment.
Nah,
Actually,
Torment's cool. It's just Wilfred's fault.
Torment would probably eat me.
You know, while you guys are talking, there's like a pretty good wind starts up from the south, and it just comes right across, like right down the road you're both on, and it hits you, and it's real brisk. Like Revert has to grab his hat, and the rain
this
hits
the
you, and
Wilfred?
it just starts hitting you from like almost a 45-degree angle, so you get hit in the side of the face.
I'm just gonna
Wilfred, did
glare.
you take a level in Warlock?
I'm just gonna glare upwind and say, Wilfred.
Wilfred, did you take a level in Warlock?
Why?
Eldritch spooky shit is happening.
I haven't noticed.
Yeah, everything's been pretty normal. It's just some rain.
This isn't just some rain. This is Wilfred rain.
Yeah, Agatha, you can purchase winter gear, rain resistant gear. It's just like, you just need like a heavier cloak than the one you've already got, and like another outfit. So all you're doing really is rolling for an outfit. DC for that is, I mean, we'll call
Higher than 3.
We'll call it a 5.
Could I try to purchase 2 sets?
Yeah, sure.
It's a good thing I tried to
Yeah.
purchase 2 sets.
Yeah, you managed to find one nice warm set of clothes and a really nice warm wool cloak. Like I said, wool that's this thick, it wicks off rain and it'll keep you dry on the inside for a long time. But if you are in the rain for a couple of hours, it will eventually soak through.
Robert was talking about beeswax stuff. I assume I got this
Yes,
from
if
a
you
tailor,
take
right?
beeswax and you coat the thing in beeswax, that will waterproof it, but that's expensive.
Could I try? I assume beeswax would be an alchemy guild or the equivalent of.
The church has beekeepers. They have bees. They make candles. They have a candler that lives pretty close to the church. You could probably go ask around there for some wax.
Sure, let's do that.
All right, yeah, you make it up there. You see the beekeepers. You see them working in there. So there's certainly somebody you can call out to.
It just hits me. I don't know how much I actually need to weatherproof this thing.
It's true, you don't know. You've never done this before.
So I'm about there, like, open my mouth and try to speak, and I'm like, wait a second. Go back to the tailor and ask.
All right. Taylor will say, well, that's probably about the same amount you need for 3 or 4 candles. If you want to get a good solid coat on there. So the candle's about yay big, nothing big. And, we're talking about like a 3 or 4, like 6-inch candles.
Alrighty. I think I got a good idea now. Thank you kindly. And I'm going to go ahead and ask for about that much worth of wax.
All right. Yeah, you go up there, ask one of the beekeepers, and he says, well, we might be able to handle that. You just give me just a minute, and I'll see if we got some in stock. I just made a delivery a couple of days ago. And he's gonna walk over to like the groundskeeper shed and look in there, and he's gonna come out. Yeah, he'll come back with a big old block of wax about the size you're asking for. Give me just a second. You say, well, it'll be about we'll call about 12 gold pieces. That's basically a DC 8. I'll check.
So, as someone who's
There you
lived,
go.
Actually, could you get me some enough for 2 sets? Do you have any more?
You say, I don't have any more on hand. You go ask up there at the candle shop. You might have to pull some uh, pull the wicks out of them, but you get some more wax that way.
I'll keep that in mind. Here's the money. Thank you.
Alrighty.
I'm out, guys.
Alrighty.
If you
Buying candles is just not exciting enough.
No, I mean, Torment hasn't done much, so.
This
Nobody
is
let you
exhilarating
fight
gameplay.
Nobody let you fight the wood woads. Sorry.
No, they didn't let me fight the things. And then they trained the halflings. They didn't let me do nothing. I enjoy training the halflings.
See, Idle actually does intend on playing or intend to tell fucking words Torment once the party is done with the shopping in town, so that we can go hunting it together instead of Torment running off alone and getting killed.
So what about getting killed? You gonna get killed. They don't kill Torment. They barely hit Torment.
See, Idle trusts Torment to
It's pretty true. Like those
Yeah.
daggers barely pierce his skin on a good stay.
Idle trusts Torment to not get his ass handed to him in pretty much any fight, but she also doesn't know what these tree things are capable of.
I'm just picturing like a small tree about 10 feet tall and Torment getting smacked by it. I don't care if you're a freaking Goliath or not. That's gonna hurt.
I'll tear its arm off and make me a new club.
They're the size of you.
That's exactly what the woodwoad is thinking. I'll tear his arm off and make me a new club.
Be a pretty floppy club.
It's more like nunchucks.
Nunchuck ends.
AGR as being you know someone who's lived outside through multiple years and so through multiple winters. Like, would I think to do what Agatha's doing? Or am I already, like...
I mean, in your experience, you don't want to be out in weather in the winter anyway. So that is not a bad idea, but also what you would probably usually do is just find somewhere where you're not going to need it. The wool will keep you plenty warm if you keep it dry, and it'll keep you a lot drier if you stay somewhere with some shelter from the wind and rain.
Okay, but
It
I
just
would
hit me,
think to go
AGR.
get wool.
I mean, you would definitely know to get wool. I think actually it'd be pretty unreasonable for you to not already have a wool cloak.
I will just write that down then.
Yep.
Are snowshoes a thing in this time?
Not really.
They are. If you get snow in your shoes, that's a snowshoe.
I mean, if you have the Inuits somewhere up north, I suppose it's a thing. Oh, cannibal giants with snowshoes. That's what's on that island north of us.
They don't need snowshoes. Their feet are fucking huge.
All natural snowshoe.
So we're going to leave on summer 76.
Yep.
What is it right now?
Let's see. I believe the 61st passed, and it's what, the 62nd? Might be the 63rd. I don't remember. Oh, no.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, I go back and double check in the recording, but yeah, it's not gonna make much difference. it's not gonna matter to like the market day calculation. So
Does anyone else have anything they need to do before we jump to the 76?
Actually, HR, is there stuff for sale that's like super easy to kindle? Like, I guess rags. Yeah, I'd like to purchase some rags, like kindling material. Probably some pouches too.
rags.
Mm-hmm. And probably throw in a handkerchief there as well, because why not?
Sure, that's a little bit non-standard, but you could do that. Yeah, make a wealth roll to see if you can buy some rags. Yeah, you buy some. Basically, go up to the tailor shop, and he's got a couple of mistailored things that he was gonna scrap and just use to patch damage. And yeah, you talk him into just turning that stuff into strips so you can use it.
Do I also talk him into getting the handkerchief for those separate rolls?
That's fine. You can have a handkerchief as well with that.
Nice.
He just finds one particularly nice little square patch that's left over after making a handful of strips, and he cuts that for you, and he cleans up the edges.
Lovely. And I'll purchase a couple of pouches somewhere.
All right. Honestly, with that same material and that roll, I think you can probably just like if you don't want leather pouches, if you don't mind them just being like linen fabric, then
I'm looking for watertight stuff so that way I can hold the kindling stuff.
all right. Well, that'll be a separate roll.
I don't think I did that properly.
That does not look correct, but I don't know.
Nope, I don't get anything.
No, you do
Strapped to
not.
cash after all this random spending.
Well, you head up there to the tanner. And you're thinking, well, maybe I'll be able to pick up some pouches, but he's having a fight with his wife, and it's real awkward. And he sees you out there and thinks you're trying to eavesdrop, and he's cursing at you all drunk, and it's awkward. You leave. Alrighty. Is anybody doing anything else prior? Like, you guys have 2 additional market days if you want to make any purchases.
Yeah, I'll be making some purchases.
Why don't we just skip ahead and get those going? Do you continue
Hey.
on and hire the 3 cockfighters? And or I guess their trainer.
I'll point them out to Idell if she'd like to see exactly who they are, but I'm not going to pursue it any further unless she wants to, do it.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
Okay,
Sure.
idle.
Trevor, you know something about halflings, right?
Yes, I know something about halflings.
That's more than I know. What do you think?
They were fighting roosters. Like it was an even fight. And you want to pick them for their combat capability. To protect against like somebody actually attacking.
When you put it that way. That does sound stupid. All right, fair point.
AGR. So I finished my insight training in 3 days.
Mhm.
There's some way I can like make some money, like either like hunting or like just doing other things in my town.
I mean, if you want to spend those days hunting, you know, I'll say you can. I don't know. You can have a day's rations for every day you spend hunting. That you can throw in the larder for these halflings.
But no like animal skins I can sell to get like.
Well, you know, are you interested in hunting game that is legal for you to hunt, or game that is not legal for you to hunt?
Does he dare to kill the king's deer?
What about bear? That's within legal and also dangerous, but you know.
Just remember, you have to save the bear's ass. It has to be a pristine ass. The guild won't
I'll
accept it
probably
if not.
stick with legal.
Wow, some really good rolls.
I think you get that tar to Acton.
I think I
Guys,
do.
Guys, where the hell are the training rules on this PDF? I seem to be missing it.
They're at the bottom.
Tired and stupid. Res-
Page 35.
Ah, thank you. How many days of training did we acquire during this, like, what, 3 weeks of market day now?
After Lord's Turn, you had 4 weeks, and then after that, you've had an additional 15 days. So that's 2 weeks and a day. So 6 weeks total since the tournament.
Oh, cool. I got proficiency in whatever it was I was training.
You might want
Right.
to figure that out.
Yeah, I might want to look up my notes and see what it says. That at 8.
So, what wealth check would that be, AGR?
You already succeeded on the wealth check. There's not really anything there. That's fine.
Oh, lovely.
It really only takes the man a handful of minutes to do, and it's a rainy day, so it's slow.
AGR, I'm not sure if it's ever going to come into play, but the Pavi shield. If it's just a masterwork shield, I would like to attempt to purchase it.
All right. I don't see why not.
No.
Today.
You know, if I can get this.
Yeah, it looks like the armorer packed up. He usually runs like there's not really a real armorer, but there is there's like an outfitter for the town guard, and he does work outside a lot, but it looks like with the rain he decided to pack it up and head in, and he's having like dinner with his family by the sounds of things. You don't want to disturb him.
That's fine. How about the weaponsmith?
Weaponsmith for what?
I'm in the mood for something exotic.
Oh,
Sword chucks.
Masterwork Kopesh.
I mean,
Good,
you can
good.
certainly look for one. I think you will be, if you're looking for something exotic, just for the sake of fun, I'll let you do it, but at disadvantage. The chances that it's there are just not very good.
Nah.
No.
Not Masterwork one anyway. Yeah, if that was a regular one, that would have been right there on the dot.
Yeah, you do see one that's a regular quality Kopesh, and you have to spend a lot of the day looking for that one. Like you're just looking around for anything to catch your eye, and that's the closest. And you just realize when you get up close to it that it's a cool design, but it's actually like the hilt rattles and it doesn't.
Mm.
Mm.
I should probably try to get some arrows, right? Some Masterwork arrows. Let me do that. I think that
So-
squeezes by.
A short sword is DC 3.
Hmm.
Does that put like what would be 10 times that? Would that be a DC 8 or a DC 10?
10 times what?
10 times a DC 3, because the lowest you have is a DC 5 on the chart.
You don't multiply the DC. You multiply the
I
gold
know,
cost.
I know.
You have to use the PHB value, if there is one. Then you just use like the closest
The
equivalent.
PHB value would be DC 8
There you go.
instead of a DC 3. So I was wondering, like, if 10
Okay,
times the
just
gold price.
just assume. Well, you could just assume like the minimum for that DC and then multiply it for most things. Okay. Generally, you'll get away with that. There might be some exceptions.
Okay.
Tarp. Are there tarps in this age? Canvas would be the equivalent, right?
Yes, there are tents. You can get a tent made of like canvas. Yeah.
Sure, let's try that. Nope. At least I don't think so. How much is a tent worth?
I would say it's a little bit expensive. Like you do see some people selling like the material exists at the tailor shop, but like all he has is fancy dyed canvas that's meant for
Nobles and such.
making fancy tents.
Hmm. This will be the first week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have anything else?
I haven't rolled for the second week.
By all means.
Still trying to put all the things that I got from the first week.
AGR, who had the Kopesh? Is he a weaponsmith or is he like a merchant?
It just seemed like I think it was probably you just like found one of your guardsman buddies who had found it a while ago on a different market day. That's funny. I don't think you'll find any truth serum in town.
Especially not with those rolls.
Yeah. I don't think your character probably would have ever heard of truth serum, so I won't hold you to those rolls for that item. If you've got something else you'd like to try to buy. And what's Revert doing?
He is having succeeded on his
Oh,
wealth roll.
man,
He's
stupid
probably just
Revert.
working on scroll until it's time to go.
All right.
Got enough time to make 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean you can get caltrips. You can go up to the blacksmith and tell him what you want. He can make something like that.
These little balls of metal.
You know,
So
Idol, if there
dispense with
is
the
a particular scroll that would be handy for you to have, you should let Revert know, because he's kind of amassing this arsenal of scrolls that he can just start firing off.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rever, that does
You
remind
get a
me.
bunch of caltrips.
We had recovered this, and I'm going to hand the scroll of Phantasmal Killer.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
There was another scroll of, I think it was invisibility, and I think you already have that in your book.
I do have that in my book. All right, yeah, I'll hold on to that scroll. Thanks.
Just figured you're the one using scrolls more often, and you'd probably be the one copying it into your book earlier than me. Have fun with it.
Oh, I
Just,
will.
just not in town, please. I hope that doesn't need to get mentioned, but. Oh, speaking of which, we have to set up a wizard tower, don't we?
What do you think I built?
I mean, we have the stone, sure, but it's a wizard tower. It needs more than stone.
Well, tell you what. We have a couple sub-basements. When you start raising the zombies, we can start cramming them in there. We'll call it dead person storage.
Zombies? I don't think that's a good idea.
I think it's an excellent idea. Who the fuck is going to want to siege the tower full of zombies?
The church? They're crazy. Have you met them? But
I mean,
if you do want to raise zombies, maybe extra dimensional plane.
Emmy just runs by while they're having this conversation in the middle of the market street, just flailing her arms.
All right, fine. If you don't want zombies, how about skeletons? Skeletons are always cool.
Agatha thinks you're joking, and will play along with this.
Oh man. The church is crazy. Yep.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
I mean, Idol's not yelling this at the top of her lungs.
Oh yeah, no, of course. I'm just when you said the church is crazy, I just imagined Emmy just like running by, wailing her arms, screeching.
Shrieking like a banshee, proving Idol's point.
Exactly, just like actually insane, legally insane.
Oh, fuck, you know what we forgot to get? Did we get carts after all?
We did not, did we?
Do you want help? Let's see if we can get one.
We also have to. Well, I need to stock up on iron now that I actually know how to make stuff.
Sounds like those purchases go hand in hand.
Yeah, I don't want to carry iron all the way back. Shit's heavy.
Yeah. Let me know whenever you make that purchase for the cart, and I'll help you with that, and we'll see what we do from there.
I'm gonna go look for that now. Actually,
All right. I already
Um,
finished most of my stuff.
have we stocked up on food for the winter?
I got 10 days. That's a good idea.
Nobody has stocked up on a large supply of food for the winter.
I have food.
I meant for the tower because we are going to have 12 people.
Oh.
Do you have food for the halflings living on your property?
No.
We should probably get some.
Should a number of us just kind of pool resources to do that?
I think we should.
Alright.
It's probably going to be better
Why
if we
don't
all.
you pick one of you to make the roll at advantage because you're pooling resources for a group purchase and
It's Idle's tower. I
No.
think she should do it.
Yeah, don't make Wilfred do that roll. Revert will just, pretend to be running a fruit stand, and then he'll swindle us out of our money.
Numbers.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool
Hey,
me 7
that's
times in a
bad.
row, shame on me.
Alright.
Ooh.
Well, after your spree of purchases, you guys didn't save a lot for all the food that you'd need. You did manage to purchase some supplies. You had to compromise a little bit on quality. There is some possibility that some of the grain that you purchased is not good. But
Did we purchase
Does
this?
anyone
more
happen to
than a
have
day
purified
before we
food and
left?
drink? Any?
Yes. Did we purchase this more than a day before we left?
more than a day before you left?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, it would have been. Hopefully.
Okay. Then I would have prepared purify food and drink the next morning, and then cast it as a ritual on anything that I needed.
Okay, great. Add a d6 to your roll there, Idle.
I also had like 9 days of free time since I couldn't get any training, so I assume I'd just be hunting and stocking up food that way.
So you were able to get a little bit more. These halflings are not going to be happy about the amount of food they have. Technically, it might be enough that they live.
So,
Sorry. That's just funny.
With the hunting too? Or did
Well, if you spent the time hunting and helped, why don't we go ahead and add a flat 3 to that, which would bring you to 9. Um, let's see. Well, it's enough that they will more than likely everyone will live. Probably no one will get like sick from like malnutrition.
They also have a lumber mill that whatever money they make from that, they can spend however they want.
there's also the problem of the 3 to 4 hour journey in the middle of winter.
Yeah, it's something that like it's gonna be difficult terrain the whole way, so they're gonna spend the whole day trekking back and forth to town in the snow if they need supplies. That's not ideal.
They're also size small creatures, so it's going to be rougher for them than for humans.
Great job, guys. We've killed our workforce.
You can get more.
I'm actually looking to buy rations for myself.
God, Under, they're not red shirts. You can't just
Ah.
dispose of them in quantities in the hundreds. The town can't support that kind of frivolous
Just watch
spending of
me.
lives. Shall I start
Actually-
recording our halflings' names?
Agatha, as long as you don't get away from me, you'll have food.
I will put my my own. How much do I have?
Yeah, I'm not concerned about your lack of skill in hunting. I'm concerned that there won't be any game to hunt where we're going.
No,
I'm not
that's
sure
not
about
what
the
I'm
environment.
talking about.
I'll put my own
Oh, you're talking about the ranger thing.
20 days of
Oh.
rations in the stockpile.
As someone
20
who's
days?
played a druid, you should know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know what you're
All
talking
right.
about. You're talking about Goodberry.
All right.
Talk
Well,
about Goodberry.
if you have 20 days of rations, that's really not very much for all these halflings, but it will help. Is it
I
not
was
pitching in
told-
rations?
Down
No,
there.
no. I said I was trying to buy that.
Oh, well, you should buy that.
I
Do you want me to
already
bulk
20 days
roll
of
that,
rations.
or how do you want me to approach that?
I think bulk roll is fine. Figure out the total cost. If you fail it by, yeah, okay. That's fine. You can just figure that out. What were we talking about? Nice net 20, by the way. They have a half up
I think
discount.
that's
You
about
get,
the same.
tell you what, you get that net 20. There's the buy one get one free on that one.
That'll make that 14 out of 20. I'll go ahead and add 7 to the stockpile. 7 days of rations.
All right, that's not 7 days of rations for 12 people. It's less than a day of rations.
Just so
The
you
thought
know,
is the thing that counts.
Between the
Yeah.
two of us, we've got like 2 days of
If-
rations for them.
if you have buy one get one coupons, or not buy one get one, if you have 50% off on the buy one get one rations, you're technically only getting 50% off on every other ration. You can't use a coupon, so it's free.
All right, so anybody do anything else? I think that's pretty much all the buying you can do. It takes you a long time to get all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'm spent.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else?
I'd like to stock up. Actually, no, probably not a good time for that. That's it.
I mean, I would purify food and drink every piece that there is there before we leave.
Okay. Well, the good news is you're pretty sure none of this food will kill anyone, and you're also pretty sure that this is enough with strict rationing that everyone will live, and everyone will probably also get like enough food to not end up malnourished, at least not to a degree that will stop them from functioning and working.
And also, they can still go to town.
That
We-
is less clear.
We have mathematically determined the bare minimum we need to feed our henchmen.
Yeah, you've barely reached what seems to be the bare minimum to leave them with, and be pretty close to safe, assuming nothing bad happens.
Hey, George, do I need any special skills to waterproof this cloak?
No, you need a heat source to get the wax warm, and you need to apply wax to the cloak.
Could I set up a campfire outside with like sparse vegetation and get that done?
There are plenty of places around Delmont that you could get that done with no trouble.
Very good.
Wait, isn't there also a druid with Goodberry that lives on our lands?
There is.
Is anyone gonna go ask her about that?
I'm sure the Goodberry will help.
Oh,
Oh.
Loki, that guy.
I'll
How do you think Loki would feel about having people in the
Bother him.
middle of winter barging on, like banging on his door every day for food? What are the chances Loki is just gonna like bail before it gets to like the first
That
snowfall?
normally Loki does bail in situations where like the social pressures. He's like, "Oh, I have to attend the garden. I am sorry, I forgot. I left the oven on. Goodbye." Never return.
Our caveman Russian left his oven on in his yurt.
Never say anything
grass
about
house.
having good excuses that he would make one though.
Like
He'll
having
go,
an oven in his yurt.
yeah, that you're in your fort there is gonna be his summer home. He's gonna winter elsewhere.
I mean, he isn't an evil guy though. If people are malnourished and like they look like they're dying, Loki would not just let someone wither away right before him. He wouldn't turn a blind eye either. I would like
Okay,
to
but he
state
would-
that he is not an evil dickbag.
Oh, fair.
But he would let them burn through all the rations first.
He would think about it. He would think about his garden, how comfortable it is over there where he's normally living. And they'd be like, yeah, we better make sure they don't die.
Fair enough. How many people can you feed with Goodberry a day?
It's like
10 per casting.
10.
And he can
All right.
cast that multiple times per day.
Well, if that is the case, then as long as the halflings are willing to eat good berries, which, I mean, they get hungry, they will, it should be fine. And they really shouldn't eat good berries until most of the way through the winter anyway.
Mhm.
So you're very unlikely to have any starvation deaths, which is good.
Huzzah.
Do we have or need any tents?
You
We
have
got a fella that knows Lehman's tiny hut. I did forget to.
So you're going to be traveling with an army.
Yeah, that would be good to get a tent, huh?
Wouldn't the army just provide us a tent? Aren't we
Maybe.
part of the military?
I mean, I
Well,
don't think they're going to be handing us swords and shields and
That's
arrows.
meta.
That's not how the military works.
Yeah. Could I try to buy a tent?
That's how military works.
Agatha, I think you've expended all of your purchasing options for right now.
Oof.
Yeah.
Could I do it at
buy a
disadvantage?
tent?
I did try it last week.
You guys can certainly bunk up more than one to a tent, though.
May Wilfred attempt to purchase a tent?
Absolutely.
Considering all
Wilfred will have the only tent, and everyone will be too afraid to sleep in there with him.
He'll still manage to have a raven in there somewhere.
Can I roll for a tent?
Okay. If you have those of you that got 9s, that's enough to get a small, enough canvas to make a single person tent. You will be sleeping on the ground, like it's a tent you'd have to lay down to get into.
Oh, should I roll for this? What's the roll?
It's a wealth check. I'm telling you that a 9 will get you a pretty shitty tent. A 12 is much higher than a 9. Let me check to see what that is.
All right, shitty tent for me.
No tent for me.
No tent for you.
small
Wouldn't you
tent.
already
You're
have a
sharing
tent?
some.
You're like normally an outdoors woman, ain't you?
You would probably
Yeah.
typically have like shelters, or you would make something like
Yeah, no, I
At
would.
least a
I have. I
lean-to.
have. Yeah, I have. Like I don't just like sleep on the ground. I have like little, different spots throughout the forest that I would have already cleared out.
Well, a 12 is more than double what that DC 8 would get you. So actually, it could be up to
Could
4.5 times that. So
all three
that's
people
probably
squeeze?
enough canvas. That's probably enough canvas to get a small standing tent. It is enough to fit 2 bedrolls into. You can get 2 people into that tent idle.
Okay.
And the 11, that's probably right at 90 gold. So that's not going to get you enough for that. It will easily get you a like an A-frame tent you have to lay down in, but you can get one that's slightly larger than the other ones. Gumbo, it's not any better, really.
Okay.
Somewhere to sleep. Okay. Yeah. Good luck to you, poor fools. I hope you've figured out enough to get away with what horror you've wrought. Okay, so
I got a
Yeah.
so you want to be a Tomb Raider kit.
I got a so your friends all forgot to buy tents kit.
I didn't forget to buy a tent. I tried last week. I just wasn't able to make it because I think there was an argument or some bullshit.
I mean,
did you have a roll last week for
I
the tent?
did.
What?
I didn't. I wasn't able to successfully purchase it. I don't believe. I asked how much was it. Let me see what it was. I think I marked it.
Well, the DC for the tent, if it's just a tent you lay in, is 8. That's just like a 1-person tent that you lay in. I don't see the rolls. I don't know.
This was last week too, so
Mm.
no, it wasn't 8. I think it was
Mhm.
5 or something.
No, there you go. Some people gonna be cold and wet.
I have a portable tent that's dome shaped.
It's funny. I do happen to have a waterproof cloak with winter attire.
It's a good thing.
Just use shape earth to like create little like hovels in the ground.
right, but we're traveling with an army, so they'd, ask
Notice.
questions.
Yeah, they're not
Hide it.
fans of spell casting. Yeah, you hide it from the whole army while
Yeah.
you're traveling among them. Good luck. Maybe it's not impossible. Maybe you'll find an opportunity.
I'm going
All
to
right.
need
Just do it in your tent and say that you dug it with your bare hands.
I'm going to need to requisition a
Oh.
bow.
If we really want to mess with them, we do it under Wilfred's tent. A 1-person tent that works like a clown car.
Okay, so
Clown car? I don't know what a car is, but I like the sound of that.
most of you have probably made enough rolls at this point. Anyone else have anything else they're trying to do?
I would like to pick up a bow. Short bow.
Okay. Make your roll. Well, there you go.
The
Everybody should get one.
fanciest bow.
It's not masterwork by chance, is it?
It is not masterwork, but they do give you an extra bowstring just in case that one breaks.
Oh, beautiful. I would like to thank them for their generosity.
All right, so market day passes once again, and the day finally arrives. Sir Wolflin shows up with Sir Jacob and a handful of other mounted soldiers, and yeah, the two knights you're familiar with approach the tower. They knock on the door.
The door swings open without anyone touching it. Revert's sitting at the table.
Bright and early.
Sup?
The door opens. Okay. Sir Wolflin says, "You lot ready? It's time to go."
Idle
And-
stumbles down in her pajamas.
Yeah, we're ready.
Having been behind the door as it opens, I close the door behind him.
I'm just finishing partitioning the climber's kit, putting the pythons in there and silk
Make-
rope in there.
Make an intimidation check real quick, Wolfrin.
Oh,
Hold on. I want to see if I can
intimidation.
portent. Nothing great. Now I'll let you roll it.
All right.
Do I know? 16. I'm using it.
Alright, why don't
Okay,
you
so
come up?
with my mod, that makes it 15.
Okay. 1 second.
Oh no.
Oh, they ain't gonna attack, eh? They?
You scare the shit out of him, get my ass whooped.
Important uses of portents.
Just a second.
Oh boy.
Okay. You hear Sir Wolflin say, "By the gods!" and he lashes out with a like an unarmed. No.
No way, Hilton screamed today for you, AGR. Damn, a +8. This boy can hit. Not today, though.
I'm pretty sure that missed because Wilfred just went, oh shit, and dived for a corner.
Would
Dude,
Wilfred
what the
count as
fuck?
surprise, though?
A
He's gonna
draft was
take a
gonna
moment.
get in.
He's going to take a moment and compose himself and say, "Don't startle me."
Yes, sir.
He does that sometimes. Gets really weird with lightning and rain in the middle.
I noticed none of your horses are saddled and ready.
Oh shit, was that today?
River just pops out his rabbit and mounts up.
It'll be in like 5 minutes.
Emmy will just silently walk down the stairs, out the door, and put on her this.
Idle's going back up to her room to change into something that's not her pajamas.
Yeah, I'm just double checking, making sure I got everything. The arrow, kit, hammer, kittens. Ah, yes, the horses.
I go outside and like my horse just brings me the saddle so I can saddle.
All right. So you all get yourselves ready, and it takes you 15 or 20 minutes to get everything together and get all the horses saddled, and then the knights head out, leading the way you guys all behind.
Are you going to give us a sneak peek for what's going to happen next week?
The hobbits are going to Isengard. To Isengard.
I mean, Isengard is surrounded by Ents right now.
And has hobbits in it.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Wolflin is going to turn back towards a lot of you as you make your way east down the road. And he's going to say, now keep a close watch. We've had some reports that there's been some strange noises in the woods, and that friend of yours is still at large.
Oh, that reminds me. What's northeast of here?
As he says that friend of yours, he moves one of his gloved hands over his right eye.
Wait, what?
Old One Eye.
Who?
Yeah, I don't know
The
who you're
Rock.
talking about. Oh.
Oh.
The Rock, Old One Eye.
Oh shit, you're friends with The Rock?
Yes, I am on good relations with Dwayne Johnson.
All
What's
right.
northeast of here?
What's northeast of there?
Of our tower.
Woods and mountains mostly.
Revert. I forgot to mention it. But I'm going to take out my notebook and not very well since I'm doing it on horseback, but I'm going to try and sketch out the wood person thing that I saw from the owl's perspective. And then hand it over.
He draws a tree.
Oh, that reminds me.
I study it very intently, and I go, mm-hmm.
There was a thing that looked sort of like this, except not like that because I don't draw very well.
Yes, well, hopefully it won't cause any problems for the tower while we're gone. And I just like burn it.
I do have scroll paper that I found. If one of you two are interested, it was along with the spell scrolls I gave you. Idle.
I have no idea what these spell scrolls you speak of are. The documentation that you handed me has been received and passed along to proper authorities.
Sure. Well, I got more empty sheets of paper suitable for documentation. Are you interested?
That might be useful later.
Here,
Robert, can
take
you
it.
hold on to it?
Or you, Revert, here.
Hey, I'm about to
Okay.
get out of here. See you all later.
We're
See ya.
closing out for the night.
Yeah.
Oh,
See ya.
alright. AGR, do I get another level? Because I'm still below APL.
Well, I think that answers your question, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, there you go.
Do we all level up?
No. Unfortunately, this enthralling session of
Chuckle fuckery and
of
shopping.
making purchases and dicking around in your new tower is not.
Hey, I bought some
sufficient.
halflings.
That's true. That's true.
And I made it haunted.
Yes.
Wait, you kept the receipt for the halflings, right, Under?
Of course, I'm no fool.
Okay, good, good.
So, AGR, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way and tie the silk rope with the grappling hook. and have it suited to the rope, that is, to the block and tackle I bought.
Right.
We'll just stage that for a rainy day.
Everyone's talking about their grappling hooks. Rivert's looking at his 2 scrolls of fly.
Emmy will just kind of pay very, very close attention to the sky,
Okay.
listening for anything.
I mean, as you guys start your way down the road, you're walking like away from the cloud cover. It's behind you. The it's a nice looking day, and the other soldiers following along with you are singing a little bit of a riding song. Something for the road.
So, these horses we're not going to have to worry about them getting confused with other horses when we join forces, are we?
You are likely to be able to identify your own horses. Their markings are specific enough you can probably pick them out of a crowd. In addition to that, you would be keeping them like, they're not all going to be kept in the same spot. You're going to find a place you want to graze them. You graze them there. Keep close to them. Tie them up near where you're going to stay overnight anywhere. So that's like standard operating procedure. Should make it pretty tough for you to misplace your horse among the other horses.
Very good.
Great. Is there anything else we need to go over before we do the journey?
No, that is how our session is going to close. What I will tell you is you should consider the next session you're probably going to be going through Glint, which is the big city. You won't have much time there, but there is an opportunity because they do have an armor smith. So
Hey, can I make that Kopesh purchase masterwork without disadvantage?
it is very likely that you would have a yes. I mean, you'd be much more likely to find it there. It's a big town. They get a lot of trade.
Redhill 2.0. Shopping Simulator 2019.